greet, and compete.
If you want sports, you're in the right place. Score! If you want easy listening, it's not here, buddy. We're The Game, 7:30 a.m. Welcome to the Sparrow Stout on Sports on Lansing Sports Station, The Game, 7:30 a.m. Starring the Dean of Mid-Michigan Sports, Tim Stout. The Sparrow Stout on Sports is Michigan's longest-running sports radio show. From the high schools to the colleges and the pros, Tim has you covered. Give Tim a call on the Culligan Water Hotline at 517-300-4263 or send him an email at tim.stout@wilx.com. Now, celebrating over 30 years on the radio in mid-Michigan and member of the Michigan Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame, here's the Dean himself, Tim Stout.
On behalf of our partner, Shaheen Chevy Cadillac, good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, and welcome to another edition of the Sparrow Stout on Sports right here on Lansing Sports Station. This is The Game, 7:30 a.m., and as you know, it is your home for the local sports shows and programming in our area, coming to you live every day and every way from the Driven Collision Studios right here at WVFN Radio. You know, Driven Collision, you don't want to use them because that means you got in an accident or you got a fender bender or you got something worse. Well, if you do need them, Driven Collision makes that banged-up vehicle look brand new. Joe Laird's people busy as we speak at 3200 West Main Street in Lansing. For an appointment, 977-0955. They'll work with the insurance companies, and you get a loaner if you need it. Well, yours is being repaired. We'll have a Driven Collision story of the day as we go through the day today on a Tuesday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Brock's here. I'm Tim. It's a beautiful day. It was about, 49, 50, something like that?
Yeah, it was cool. There was some frost on my car this morning.
So it's a little bit cooler. Fall is here, although a wonderful weekend is coming up.
Supposed to warm up a couple days, isn't it?
We may get to 70 degrees for the homecoming football game on Saturday, and it looks like it'll be nice for the homecoming parade through the streets of East Lansing, and that's coming up on Friday as well. The Culligan Water Hotline is 34263. Our email address, tim.stout@wilx.com. We'll have Pure Green Smith Tree, breaking sports moments. We get the stories. We pass them on to you if we think that they'd be of interest to you, near or far. Pure Green Smith Tree says it's aeration season for lawns, business, residential, whatever. That's what the golf courses do in the fall. You do it too. They make it look like a golf course type look next spring. Pure Green Smith Tree for an appointment is at 703-1111. We'll have Quality Dairy stats through the day today. It's fall. That's cider and donut season at all the Quality Dairy stores in mid-Michigan. Get the QD mobile app, and it just makes it that much easier to save money and more convenience in many ways whenever you're around Quality Dairy. As I say, the Culligan Water Hotline is 34263, and away we go here in the Sparrow Stout on Sports. Tiger baseball tonight. Oh, no, wait, the season's over.
No, season's over.
Yeah, the season's over.
The Adam Nightingale Show is tonight in 1240 WJIM at 7 from 1 Northwest, over the old Reno's West, up by the Lansing Mall. That's where it's going to be.
I think he is not necessarily a closet fan. He's a closet Tom Izzo admirer and a closet Michigan State basketball fan. He took his wife on the Spanish trip in August quietly.
Nightingale you're talking about.
Nightingale and his wife, they went on the trip to Spain with the MSU basketball team. And after Michigan State beat Boston College on Saturday night in hockey, the next morning he flew to Marquette to be on hand for the Michigan State Northern Michigan exhibition basketball game. And he visited with Tom on the floor, and I know Tom appreciated it a great deal. And Tom's occasionally at a couple of the hockey games, at least for a time being or a period or whatever it is. And the problem is he can't watch a game because he's in the middle of everybody, and so everybody wants a picture, they want to yak or complain.
And he can't say no.
He never says no. Neither of them do. And Adam has been wonderful on this show. Through all of the 32 years on the airs, it's always amazing to me the never-ending process of guests who appear on this show. We probably get every day from around the country 15 to 20 requests on an average day of someone trying to get someone as a guest on the air, all right? most of them, we just say there's no interest in the audience here, in our opinion. But when we do book them, it's different. In terms of Michigan State coaches, as the years have gone by, I've changed my attitude on how we do it. But one thing that I do appreciate, Izzo and Nightingale both are the most noteworthy coaches and the easiest to book, and to be perfectly honest with you, in a lot of ways, the most interesting that we have on the air.
Jake Boss Jr.?
He's very good.
Yeah, I mean, if they say we're going to call at 10:25, him and Nightingale, by God, they call right at 10:25.
I mean, there are some that I say to myself through all the years, I say, even though that guest might be someone who's available, what we get on the air, to me, doesn't have enough oomph to it to make it worthwhile. Now, a lot of times with some guests, they're going to surprise you because you didn't expect much and you got a lot more than you thought you were going to get. And then there are those you expected a great deal from, and you got very little. I'll never forget when Jim Delaney was the well-known, highly regarded commissioner of the Big Ten Conference. This is when he was working. Brock, I'll never forget, we were in the off-season, whatever, in the summertime when you need guests more.
Was it right at the start of the Big Ten Network?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I just don't remember. But what I do remember is this is just a simple request. Would he like to call in and we'll visit about the Big Ten on the air? You would have thought I was making a request for the President of the United States.
One of those guys?
What are the questions going to be?
Oh, please.
Why are you asking those questions? So, I debated. I said, is this really worth it? So I bite. So he comes on the air. So I get I say to myself, I don't want the usual, boy, we got great students. Oh, our student athletes, boy, they're academics.
Yeah, that's blah, blah,
I don't
blah,
want
blah.
any of that. Nobody cares.
Yeah, that's blah, blah, blah
It's just
stuff.
blah, blah, blah. You can say that at all the media days, and whoever wants to reuse all that pap, go ahead and use it. But that's what he got into. And when he was done, I said to myself, do you realize there are parts of my life I'm never going to get back, trying to get this interview, which had not a shred of substance to it. Toward that end, one area where all of us who interviewed Tom Izzo will miss him is that he is very, as you know, Brock, and sometimes we want to get him off and he wants to stay on.
Oh, he'll
and you can address him on any subject and he'll give you an answer.
Tim, how many times we've been told he's only got 10 minutes. He's only got 10 minutes. And 15 minutes later, he's still on a roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he'll end up talking 15, 20 minutes, and we have to stop him because we got to get to the news at the top of the hour.
Right.
It's happened before. It's the way it is.
All right. I have breaking news here. This is
okay.
ESPN is reporting the Los Angeles Raiders are finalizing a deal.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
The Las Vegas Raiders. Excuse me. Thank you. The Las Vegas Raiders are finalizing a deal which will send Davante Adams to the New York Jets for a conditional third rounder. And then I don't have the rest of this picked up. I got to get to ESPN here on my app, which I'll do this right here. There's been all this talk about whether Davante Adams was going to get traded by the Raiders.
Yep, right.
And apparently he is going to the New York Jets, who frankly could use anybody that even resembles a pro football player the way they are headed. That came up with a staff audio this morning, the state of the New York Jets, okay? So I guess what? He's going to get traded now. The Ann Arbor argument this morning was whether or not the Lions should immediately make a deal and give away high draft picks, including a first-rounder, to find a replacement for Aiden Hutchinson, or stay the course through the Minnesota Vikings game Sunday, see if anyone else steps up, and if they do or they do not, then make a decision after this game or down the road, and don't make a knee-jerk reaction giving away draft picks that would be obviously valuable in the future.
And for those of you who are worried about the salary cap issue, that is no issue for the Lions. They have the fourth most salary cap space in the NFL at almost $34 million. They're almost $34 million under the cap. So that's no issue.
So we have that in the space. So apparently this, Davante Adams,
and that's not a shock. That's been expected.
Yeah. So there you go.
Him getting traded. Yeah.
But that was the bit. I told Brock, I said, this is just. I think the Vikings are 2-point favorites. I think the Vikings are due to get beat. And
you're high on them. You've been high on them all.
Well, they're 5-0.
Yeah, I mean they've been way better than anybody thought.
I mean, I'd like to take credit for being a genius, but 5-0 is 5-0 in the NFL. But I just think they're due to get beat. Now, the angle to me is Sam Darnold going to take advantage of the fact that the Lions' pass rush Sunday may not be what it has been? And if that's the case and this Justin Jefferson runs free in the secondary, can the Vikings outscore the Lions? I know one thing, the Vikings' defense better be up to snuff because the Lions haven't been stopped by anybody. They look like Grant going through Richmond against Dallas. But you know what? I think part of that, Brock, is Dallas, too.
Yeah, they have injuries on defense.
I just think Dallas. Watching some of those Lions runs, I said, now I get the Lions have a good offensive line. I get all that. But my golly, the holes that some of these guys had. I said, Dallas, do you have any defensive players at all? And this was a team that was coming off a win at Pittsburgh in which they only gave up 17 points. I think the key with Dallas is what are they going to do in the next game? And by the way, in their division with Washington and Philadelphia and the Giants.
Well, the Giants stink, but I got you.
Yeah, but they're better than they were.
That ain't saying much.
And for Dallas, right? Is that all Dallas can handle is playing the Giants twice? I guess we'll see. There's 13 weeks to go. Or 12 weeks to go, 12 games because the Lions have had their bye week. So they're 4-1 with 12 games to go. But after the Vikings, they've got some cream puffs coming up, Tennessee and Jacksonville.
That's they get a breather after the Minnesota game because Tennessee's in 2 weeks, and then we'll see what happens. I looked at the standings, NFL standings this morning. As of right now, after 6 weeks of the regular season, now we got 12 weeks to go. Every team in the NFC North would make the playoffs right now. The division champion, which would be Minnesota, and Detroit, Green Bay, and Chicago would all make the playoffs as wild card teams.
I don't think any of them are a fluke. I think the Bears are because
their defense is good.
Chicago's culture is, in my opinion, is like the Lions' culture a year ago. They think they're on the verge of getting a whole lot better.
Well,
defensively, they were good to begin with.
Right. And Caleb Williams has been good so far. He did throw 4 touchdown passes, but it was against Jacksonville.
To me, the surprise of the 4 so far is Minnesota.
Oh, agreed.
Because you didn't know how Sam Darnold was going to play as a starting quarterback.
Right, after J.J. McCarthy got hurt.
Now, they got a long way to go.
Oh, goodness.
We got all these divisional games coming up. Everybody's got these divisional games.
And Dan Campbell said the same thing.
We got a lot of divisional games. Everybody's going to go on the road, and, you got a lot of tough games. I think the Lions are mature enough, and Campbell's certainly mature enough to know that as giddy and as glowing as the win over Dallas was, is there any carryover value? And it came at a high price, losing your best defensive player.
Yes.
Who can affect offenses on the other side because of his pass rush.
Yes.
And his name was being brought up last week as the NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
At least at the quarter mark, yeah.
At the quarter mark, that his name got mentioned. Mm-hmm. That's high praise. Whether it's accurate or not, you can decide for yourself, but that's high praise. I think the big question now with a lot of these fans is watching the Lions operate how they operate. Will they? My recommendation, or if it's an either-or type of question, do we wait or do we make a deal now? I'd wait and see what you do with Minnesota. It's a long season ahead yet. There's a lot of things that are going to happen, good and bad, for every team. There are a lot of injuries coming up yet. If you can beat Minnesota if you don't have to give up a first round, second round to get whoever it is you think is a comparable fill-in for Hutchinson, why do it? You know what I mean? Why do it? But obviously those are storylines that we have coming up. Let's take a quick break, okay? We got a busy show today. The Culligan Water Hotline, though, for you to join. I got a lot of emails here, Brock. I get caught up on the emails. We'll get caught up on the emails and more. We've got Gillespie. We've got Inver. And by the way, the high school highlight Inver clip today is something that I hadn't realized until I looked this morning at all the vast records. 100 years of the Michigan High School Athletic Association has some wild records. I have records which CAAC boys high school basketball team through all the years has played the most games in the state tournament, which one has won the most state championships, and which one has the best winning percentage in the history of the state high school basketball tournament through the years. That and more when we return on the Tuesday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Now is a great time to start your holiday shopping at Meijer. Save big this week with our early holiday deals. Save $40 on a Gourmet air fryer. Save $30 when you buy a Keurig K-Slim single-serve coffee maker. And for the competitive ones on your gift list, select board games are 20% off. Shop even more great gift ideas like these in the Meijer Holiday Gift Guide. Available on Meijer.com, in-store, or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Are you attending the Old Town Trick or Treat and Doggy Costume Contest next Friday, October 18th? This is Kirby Proust from Proust Pets, and we are proud to host the festivities again this year. You can participate with your dog or come out to observe the hilarious costumes, free of cost. Go trick-or-treating throughout Old Town with your dogs between 4 and 6 p.m., followed by the costume contest. Gather free giveaways and get great values from vendors like Doggy Daycare and Spa. Register online or in person at ProustPets.com.
Culligan Water of Lansing, a wonderful partner of the Sparrow Stout on Sports program for so many years, for so many good reasons, because so many people love Culligan. And Craig Prang of Culligan is here to tell us the latest heading into the fall. Craig?
Yeah, a lot of people call about drinking water, and we have options for you. You may want bottled water. You may want a cooler. Most popular system right now is the reverse osmosis, and that's actually a filtering system that we can put into your house. Many times attach it to the refrigerator also, but it gives you purified water. We'll take all the total dissolved solids out of it for you. And if you rent the unit, we take care of the filter changes for you for free. And if you opt for the bottled water, we even have a 24/7 loading yourself option at the plant. Just give us a holler. We can take care of you.
There are so many things that Culligan can do for you in so many different ways. 393-1900. Craig Prang will take care of you on the phone or stop by Dunkel Road in person. Lake Lansing Road Mobile wants to give you peace of mind before the nasty cold weather arrives. And with 48 years in business locally, the Bracci family is an industry-leading mobile gasoline retailer. With auto repair, convenience store, and a touch-free car wash, they'll make sure your vehicle is ready. From tires, suspension, batteries, and tune-ups to belts, hoses, and that annoying check engine light. Lake Lansing Road Mobile at Lake Lansing Road and US 127. Call 484-2300.
This is the Lansing Sports Network Minute from the Lansing Sports Network News Desk.
I'm Steve Goff. Dylan Larkin and the Red Wings tied up their battle early against the Rangers last night.
Fakes the shot, cuts wide, centers it out in front, and Dylan Larkin scores.
The legendary Ken Kal on the call. Wings would ultimately give up the next 3 goals, dropping the game 4-1 and falling to 1-2 on the season. Detroit plays host to New York Thursday at 7 at Little Caesars Arena. MSU tennis star Ozan Barish wrapped up the 5th day of play at the ITA Midwest Regionals with a big win in East Lansing yesterday, becoming the first MSU singles player to do so. The men's team travels to Winston-Salem, North Carolina for the next 4 days for another tournament. From the studios of the Lansing Sports Network, I'm Steve Goff.
Find more and stay up to date at LansingSportsNetwork.com or in the Lansing Sports Network app.
From quiet, cozy mornings and busy weekday dinners to fun family and friend gatherings, your home is your happy place. So when you find the perfect place to call home, Merck is here. With personalized mortgage solutions and competitive rates, Mercantile Bank lenders are with you every step of the way. Because at Mercantile, we're here to help you own it. To find a local lender and get a personalized rate quote that fits your budget, visit mercbank.com/mortgage. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Young or old, okay, male or female, you got some pains, you got aches, Peak Performance Physical Therapy is where you ought to start first. And they've got locations now in DeWitt, Mason, Westshire Drive in Lansing, and also Grand River Avenue in Okemos. 853-6800 is the number. Before you go through all those doctors and any of those surgeries, let their people take good care of you, as they've done for so many people in the area. And hey, if you mention Stout on Sports when scheduling your evaluation, you receive a free gift when you come in for your first appointment. Peak Performance Physical Therapy. Did you know that Michigan residents are missing out on a staggering $105 million every year? Yes, we are talking about Michiganders not returning their deposit containers, and we can do so much better in this state. So take them back. It's your beaches, your roads, and your dime. It's worth your time. Let's keep Michigan green and our wallets a little fuller. Don't let that $100 million end up in the landfills. The message from Schupan & Sons, a great company in Michigan dedicated to total recycling. For everyone, enjoy golf this season at Michigan State's Forest Acres Golf Courses. 2 18-hole championship layouts, a state-of-the-art practice facility referred to as the Golf Center, 2 full-service golf shops, and a full complement of services. services. It's a big season. For information, call 355-1635 to get a tee time either on the east or the west and get a good chance to enjoy working on your game with a variety of friends. Michigan State's Forest Acres Golf Complex for you. And this is a wonderful time of year to play with the fall colors, the discounted prices, and holiday season in the pro shops. A great place to get Michigan State apparel. Pizza time, that's Cottage Inn Gourmet Pizza, the official pizza. The Sparrow Stout on Sports. George Hoover's got 6 locations in the area. They'll drive it over to you, or you can go pick it up, and they got a vast menu besides pizza that you have to see for yourself. And if it's Italian food, Spagnolo's, okay? You'll love Spagnolo's. Spagnolo's is on Grand River Avenue, just 3 miles east of the Meridian Mall, closed on Sundays, but the other 6 days and nights a week are they rocking. The best Italian food in the area, in our opinion, Spagnolo's on Grand River Avenue, just east of the Meridian Mall.
From the Breslin Center to Little Caesars Arena, we've got the sports opinions that matter to you. From the Driven Collision Studios, we make friends by accident. On the Game, 7:30 a.m.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios. Brock has discovered that there might be a pass rusher the Lions could obtain because he's a veteran who wants out from his team. And would he fit with the Lions if the Lions are looking to upgrade the pass rush with Aiden Hutchinson gone?
One of the other defensive end pass rushers that is not playing because he's upset with his contract is Hassan Reddick. Jordan Schultz, who's a Fox Sports NFL insider, in quotation marks, he's reporting breaking news. Sources confirm New York Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick has been granted permission to seek a trade. Okay?
Would he be worth it to look at or not?
Because he's not playing right now.
Well, you need somebody who can play.
Yeah, right.
So I'd say no. Now, the other
he's not hurt. He's upset with his contract. He wants a big contract extension, and the Jets aren't giving it to him.
So Brock says you got to read this on the air.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So it's Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys. He's 82 years old now, right? And the Cowboys, according to what Forbes magazine, are the most valued professional sports franchise in America, I believe, over the New York Yankees. I think the Cowboys are.
And it's like top 10, top 5 in the world.
I don't know how many billion they're considered, but they haven't done anything. And if you watched them play against the Lions, even though you say, boy, the Lions sure played great, that's fine. But how bad did the Cowboys play? Okay, if you're a Cowboys fan. So the owner of the team's got his own radio show. And he owns the rights to it, and he's the one that assigns all these guys to host the show and all that. So he's got 2 guys. So yesterday he's doing his radio show, and he doesn't like the questions. So he tells it's 105.3 The Fan. I don't know if they call it the Jerry Jones Show or whatever they call it.
Right, yeah, because he's the only owner in the NFL that has his own radio show.
So in the middle of the show yesterday, the questions, so he doesn't like the questions from the 2 guys that he hired to host the show. Quote, "This is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job. I'll get somebody else to ask these questions. I'm not kidding. You're not going to figure it out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this NFL meeting I'm going to today with 32 teams here. You're geniuses. You really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all of the things that I've done wrong without going over the rights? Listen, we both know we're talking to a lot of great fans, a lot of great listeners, and I'm very sorry for what happened out there Sunday. I'm sick about what happened Sunday. One of the stupidest things I've ever done that anybody had ever analyzed was buy the Cowboys. It was an idiot that did that. So idiot things can turn into good decisions. Smart things can turn into bad decisions. The facts are, when you make one, you don't really know if it's going to be good or not at the time. You want some conversation this morning, you're getting it. So he says there are 5 or 10 guys like you can do the same thing. I still remember my very, very first boss. I'm 21 or 22 years old. I'm on the 6 and 11 o'clock sports, and I'm all excited about this. I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm all excited and all that. And we get into, I don't know, he took issue something, and I'm over in his office. He took issue with something. We were trying to figure out what to do to get other personnel. And I remember he said very succinctly at the time, sports guys like you are a dime a dozen. There are a lot of guys that can do what you do. And, of course, at the time, I resented it. But through the years, I tell Brock, I look at all these talking heads on ESPN and CNN and Fox and all that, and I say to myself, that just harkens me back to when he told me 50 years ago, sitting in his office, sports guys are a dime a dozen. If it isn't you, it'll be somebody else. If it isn't somebody, he says, believe me, they're not hard to find. And in today's world, I totally agree with him. You can find anybody that has a sports opinion, anybody who follows it, has an opinion, which frankly is why it's popular, because it's not life and death for the most part.
Yeah.
So
right,
Jerry Jones
right.
is telling these two guys yesterday, I can get any other guys to do what you do. It's not you to ask these. I don't know what the questions were, but obviously the Dallas Cowboys, who get tremendous national exposure, and they have Brock, when's the last time they did? They haven't won a Super Bowl in, 28, 29, whatever years it is? The Cowboys.
They haven't won it since it'd be 30 years this year. They last won it in the 1995 season, Super Bowl 30, when they beat Pittsburgh. 27-17, I think it was.
I mean, I always told my kids when they were growing up, and you get asked all the time, what's a key to longevity in anything? Because I think there are some common traits in any area of life where there are common traits with longevity. What I told the boys was, because our oldest at one time, he was struggling in his first job because he didn't agree with the management, the way they were. And I think Tom was right, to be honest with you. And we're sitting at the dinner table one night, and he's telling me all of his frustration. He said, if we did this, 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 and this, we would be better at this, this, and this. And I agreed with him. But I told him, I said, you understand, going through life, most people work for someone that you probably think that you're smarter than, and it's accurate. You probably think if we did it your way, it would work better.
In some cases, you're right.
Well, I can tell you that through all the years here. There are things that rank and file employees have suggested. I said, that's a good idea. It's a shame we can't get corporate to agree to it, blah, blah, blah. Nothing necessarily specific, but you get my idea. Doesn't make anybody a bad person.
Right.
The difference is one's the boss, one's the owner, and you're an employee. And if you're an employee, you can only go so far with what you want.
Right.
I said to him, in my case, the toughest boss in all these years I ever worked for was my first boss. He was the
Harold
toughest.
Hal Gross.
He was the toughest. But if you can work for your toughest first, then you're going to understand how this all works going through. And I don't think broadcasting is the only area of America where employees with bosses, it's always, it's always an easy city that we all agree on everything moving through it. But he was the toughest. But I probably what I learned from him is you got to decide how much you want to do what you're doing. If you want to do what you're doing, do you get along with managers? Because you're replaceable. I mean, even in this business, you look at Dan Rather, he was replaceable, right? Katie Couric, she was replaceable.
Brian Williams,
he was replaceable. Ernie Harwell, he was replaceable.
Although that was...
They brought him back.
They brought him back because they knew they did him wrong. But
I think, to be honest with you, Ernie thought, well, there's no way they're going to let me go. And they did. Because there was an issue that was developed between the management. It's not a question. It's not a question of who's right and wrong. It's a question is if you want to keep this job, what are you willing to do to keep it? Because they can replace you with a heartbeat in any walk of life, in my opinion, and fair or unfair. That's just simply the way the system works, almost anywhere. So when I saw this thing with Jerry Jones, now I wonder, one of two things is going to happen. The questions on that show are going to get more to his liking, whatever they are, after whatever game the Cowboys play.
Yeah,
they're going to get replaced and somebody else will do it, and then somebody else will want the opportunity to host the Jerry Jones radio show. First of all, how many owners in the NFL have? I mean, he does ask for it.
He brings it on himself because of his own ego.
Well, he brings it on himself. He's the general manager.
Yeah, because he wants to prove to Jimmy Johnson that I can build a championship team like you did.
Do you realize, most likely,
he was jealous of Jimmy Johnson.
If he was the general manager at any other NFL team, more than likely he would have been fired as general manager years ago.
Oh, decades ago.
Years ago. Now, if you're the owner, you can do whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
You don't have to answer that. So that's a beautiful thing about ownership. You may have issues with the employees, but if you think, the owners I've known of anything through the years have always felt if I have a problem with so-and-so, so-and-so is replaceable. And in most cases, now in the case of athletes, it's a little more complicated than that.
Yes.
You know, you may not like your star player, but your star player sells tickets and wins games. So I may have to deal with my star player, even though personally I really don't like him. But that's part of sports that's bizarre because there are some who, frankly, are not replaceable from the standpoint of your business doing well or not doing well, because I'm going to take it from the public if I get rid of this guy because I don't like him personally.
There's a handful of guys in the NFL that are like that now.
Well, I think about who's the guy for the 76ers, and the management was a Ben Simmons. Who are the guys?
Oh yeah, Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I mean the management. Sooner or later, you don't want you like the guy's talent, but I can't get along. I got to decide: are we better off keeping him, and I don't like him?
They eventually got rid of him. Now he's entering the final year of that ridiculous contract, and the 76ers are trying to build around Joel Embiid.
I mean, I always
good luck with that.
I always tell students when they ask about career opportunities, I say, well, the first thing you have to ask yourself with your first job, how much do you like it? Are you willing? I mean, can you live with the fact that you don't agree with what you're told to do? If you can't, then you're going to obviously separate and go find something else.
Are you happy with doing a lot of grunt work?
Are you happy with doing things you don't believe in? Can you do it without big? And if you do it, but you're a pain in the neck doing it, that's not going to help either. I've told these to our staff. I've seen more people in this business, even locally, think they're bigger than management, and they've all been gone. I had a bet with Fred last December about someone I saw in this business. I told him a year ago, I said, I'm telling you, so-and-so is not going to be around by the end of the year. Why do you say that? I said, I'm getting a lay of the landscape here. I'm getting a lay of the landscape that's never, and if there's not a match, then go find something else to do. Doesn't make necessarily anybody a bad person, but if it's not a match, and I don't know these two guys in Dallas, but I would suspect. I understand the questions. They're obvious questions when the team like the Cowboys is struggling the way not only this year but the way it has. But on the other hand, I remember the 5 years I did the Nick Saban show. You could ask Nick fair questions. He was much easier to interview off a loss than he ever was off a win. Yeah, you've
said that before.
He was much easier. He didn't want to sit there on his coach's show and have me gush about, boy, what a great game you coached yesterday.
Because he would find fault with something that somebody did. What
he would say, he wanted to make sure after every game, win or lose, are we on track to try to improve next week? And if we don't have that mentality, even when you win, are we going to get better next week? Where you relax is after the very last game because now you don't have anything to look forward to in next season. And he didn't need to tell me that. I remember after game, and frankly, of the 5 years with him, the hardest show was the one everybody said, oh, it's going to be a great show tomorrow when they beat Michigan 34-31.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that Sunday morning when we taped that show the next day. Because I kind of bought into everybody telling he'll be in a great mood. He came in just because they were going on the road to Purdue to play Drew Brees and then to Wisconsin.
Ron Dane.
And Ron Dane. And he said, I'm telling you right now, just watching our guys, they can't handle it because we're not used to the wins like this.
Because they were undefeated.
They were undefeated.
After beating Michigan,
He was miserable that next Sunday. He says, I'm never going to be able to get them to overcome this because everybody's patting him on the back. And I could tell talking to him after the game, and understandably so, we just beat Michigan. And I remember I said, take 5 minutes before we tape. I said, Nick, you're going to have to show some appreciation the fact that you beat a good Michigan team. So he thought about that for a moment. But I could tell his biggest concern taping that entire show was the moment I get out of here, what are we going to start doing to prepare to go play Brees at Purdue because he beat us the year before as a sophomore. That wasn't Nick's team. Some of this stuff you don't forget. I just remember how and State got killed down there. They got killed.
Oh, they couldn't stop
them. And then
they
got beat by Wisconsin.
Couldn't stop them either.
Wait, it was the year before because Nick, that was his last year. He came in off that win over, that 34-31 win over Michigan. Yep. And plus the fact, he said we played a terrible fourth quarter. We had them down and we let them back into it. I mean, to your point, he was a coach like many of them. What are we going to do? Kirby Smart's the same way. What are we going to do to get better next week? The moment that win's done, can our players handle it and get better the next week?
Handling success.
I don't know why I rambled into that off Jerry Jones' radio show, but there you go. More in a moment. And I've got more emails. I haven't even got to the emails yet. But Mark says you've got to read what Jerry Jones told the two hosts on his team because they played the Lions. And the Lions were slight favorites and just buried the Cowboys 47-9. Quality Dairy numbers not to forget. This is the Tuesday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Here's On Tap today here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. Dave Ellis is going to be coming up in the next hour. We look forward to talking to him. Got some other possibilities, too. At 1 o'clock, ESPN Radio. Then at 3, a full 3 hours of The Huge Show. At 7 o'clock tonight, 1240 WJIM, it is another edition of the Adam Nightingale Coaches Show, talking about the split with Boston College this past weekend. And that's what's on tap. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
Tailgating season or any other special occasion, Tom's Food Centers in Okemos and Portland are ready to make it great for you. The entire family has created Tom's Food Centers, and they upgrade the stores with new renovations on a consistent basis. And it's also so convenient to get in and out right away 7 days a week. A lot of things on sale. The stores are fully stocked. They're neat, clean, sanitary. And for all those special occasions, you can dart in and out anytime, 7 days a week. Try them. Tom's Food Centers in Okemos and Portland.
We all want more out of work and out of life. More top-line ideas, more bottom-line results. More support on the job to get us more time away from the job. To get more, it helps to have a trusted partner like Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan and Blue Care Network. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is. We help you stretch dollars and offer the healthcare coverage you want so you can focus on your job and life away from it. To see what Blue Cross can do for you, visit timeformore.com.
It's amazing to me the fabulous quality of Wash World in cleaning your vehicle. 2 locations in our area, Okemos and Jolly Road, and on the west side, I-96 at the MLK exit. State-of-the-art, full service, free vacuum. Who offers that? $2 off on Wednesday, gift cards available, and you can get monthly and yearly wash subscriptions. You're in and out right away. Your vehicle looks great any time of the year. Make your car or truck look great at Wash World. The best in quality, the fastest service, believe me, in Okemos and Westside Lansing. City Limits in Mason. What a gathering place for people who've enjoyed bowling and just recreation and get-togethers for a number of years, and it's going hot and heavy, and it's safe and sound, and you ought to see all the people in the parking lot who enjoy City Limits every single day. You can sign up for a bowling league for a special occasion 7 days a week after a game, or go watch games on the big screen TV. City Limits on Cedar Street in Mason. Everybody knows where it is, and everybody loves it. You'll love City Limits Cedar Street in Mason, too.
At Baker's Pharmacy, CARE is making it easy to get vaccinated. CARE is helping you stay protected from flu, COVID, and RSV. Seasonal vaccines are available 7 days a week with evening hours. CARE is giving you a shot at staying healthy this season. Walk in whenever is best and get multiple vaccines in one visit at your local Baker's Pharmacy. So come and get the protection you need while protecting those around you. Baker's, a world of care is in store. Visit bakersplus.com/vaccines for more. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See site for details.
Quality Dairy, 89 great years serving the mid-Michigan area. If you live in this area, there's a Quality Dairy story near you for anything special, anytime of the day. Hey, it's cider and donuts season. Nobody has cider and donuts like Quality Dairy. And download the QD mobile app because you'll get great savings with it. Some of the stores, of course, have laundromats and there's gasoline elsewhere. But through your life in mid-Michigan, you know doggone well over all these years, Quality Dairy, there to help you and serve you in the past and in the future, to be sure. Custom-built design and renovation in Meridian Township in Michigan is ready to renovate your home, build you a deck, redo your bathroom, your kitchen, and you see those custom-built signs all over the mid-Michigan area. Call for a consultation at 881-9871. They have so many tremendous opportunities for you. If you're looking for a pro home remodeling contractor in our area, look no further than Custom Built. Contact them today for free estimates. What a great company for renovation. New incentives for you from Dominic at Sparty's Coney Island in Frandor. Open till 2 o'clock each day. 20% burger Thursdays. You know how great the Coneys are, especially with half prices on Tuesdays. But now Thursdays, 20% on burgers. And man, is Dominic excited about that. Dine in, carry out every day. Breakfast is spectacular as well. Always incentives at Sparty's Coney Island in the Frandor Shopping Center. And again, whether it's 20% burger Thursdays or half-price Coney Tuesdays, be sure to tell Dominic we sent you. Beautiful day for a touch-free car wash at Lake Lansing Road Mobile. It gets you 25 cents a gallon discounted off the price of gas anytime. Right across from the Eastwood Town Center. Can't miss it. It's packed all the time. Service bays will fix whatever ails your vehicle quickly, efficiently. Monday through Friday, call 484-2300. You know how I go through this. Across the street, Eastwood Town Center, there's a Culver's by Walmart. Bless his heart, Scott Berman, who's just a monster in restaurants in our area. He's got that one Culver's. When you order Mention Stout on Sports at that one Culver's, indoors or out, they'll drop the price 10%.
Where sports and fandom collide. We are the Game, 7:30 a.m.
Our co-host Lyle is on the Culligan Water Hotline. He's up next on this Tuesday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Good morning.
Good morning. Didn't you kind of feel sorry for Rogers last night? Man, he took some shots.
No.
I mean, some shots.
I'll take those shots and get paid what he gets paid.
Wouldn't it be kind of, I'm just thinking, and being mean, of course, would it be, he just picks himself up like a bag of bones, go back to the huddle and say, boy, I bet you wish you got that job at Jeopardy host.
Yeah, no kidding. He should have been the Jeopardy host and it wouldn't have been as many injuries. No, I didn't think he was that bad as the Jeopardy host, to be honest with you.
He wasn't.
I thought he was fine. I didn't see all the game. I mean, there were a lot of other things that were on last night. The Red Wings were on.
Talk about the flags flying around the stadium. My goodness, that was just a brutal game to watch.
Yep, I agree.
All right, hey, I know Brooks could probably calling in, so I will talk to you later.
There you go. He's talking about Brooke Humble. Ozzy is the official jeweler of the Sparrow Stout on Sports in the middle of October. The clocks are going to change. It's going to get darker. It might be a little more bleak in some ways, but you can cheer up whenever you stop by Ozzy Jewelers, kitty corner from Frandor. Let's see if Brooke buys into that as I lead into that with that intro. Morning, Brooke.
Good morning. Actually, I was a little impressed with that one. I was thinking, well, he's right. It is awfully bright and shiny and sparkly in there pretty much year-round.
Yeah, it is. So. Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
What's on your mind this morning?
Right. I want to talk a little bit about Sammy. Sammy is our watch guy, and I was really impressed with him yesterday. He and I work, just two of us together, a lot in the store. And he's amazing at sales. I want to give him a lot of credit with that. He's great, and he makes a lot of people happy. He makes a lot of people laugh. He can sell a huge diamond ring and an awesome watch just as well as he can repair watches. And that's what yesterday I was watching him do. He had this watch, and it was an older watch, and I was just standing over his shoulder, basically, watching him, and I was like, I don't know how you do this. Like, how this is so, his fine motor skills are so amazing, and he's literally taking apart this watch and putting the movement back together and the hands back together, and it was so intricate. And he got this thing up and running again. And then the customer came to pick it up, and it was a lady's watch. It was really tiny, and she was so appreciative. It's the watch she'd had forever, and he's so good. And I say that to the customers that walk in the store all the time. I always say, he's our watch genius. He can fix anything. But he truly can. And if for whatever reason he can't, he's honest with you, and he'll point you in the right direction if you can't do it, or he'll just tell you, I'm sorry, I've done everything we can. There's nothing more you can do. But he's really something special when it comes to watch repairs. So if you do need a watch repaired, and even if it's as simple as a watch battery, or you need some links removed, or you need a whole new movement or a new crystal, come see Sammy. He's really awesome. And if you want to buy a diamond ring, come see Sammy too, because he's really good at that as well. And I promise you will crack up laughing before you walk out of that store, because he's just a great guy. So I just wanted to give a little shout out to him. He does great.
And people who need just to have the batteries changed in their watch, more often than not, you can be in and out right away, and he'll change the battery, and then you're good to go. I think a lot of times, for people like me who are a little ignorant about this stuff, you think, oh my golly, my watch is completely broken. No, it just needed another battery, and then you're good to go in the future. And he and Ozzy can do that in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah, they can. And I do have to sometimes take your watch in if Sammy's really busy, and Eli changes the batteries too. So if he's busy, I might have to take your watch in, and we'll call you later to come pick it up, or we'll see if you have to go run an errand or something and ask you to come back in a half hour. So we do that, but most of the time that battery can be changed in very little time, 5 minutes or less. And then the one thing, too, I want to remind everybody or let everybody know is it's exactly that. Sometimes they come in and they think their watch is broken. They have to get a new one. It typically is just battery, and batteries that normally only last 1 to 2 years. So don't worry, don't freak out or panic if you've had you feel like you just had your battery changed. I don't know about you, but time flies in my world. So I feel like I maybe just changed my battery in my watch, and really it was, 15 months ago. So batteries do need to be changed usually once every, 1 to 2 years, I would say.
I don't know the answer to this. I probably should. Isn't Sweetest Day, is that coming up? Because we were talking about that last week. It's around the corner, is it not?
It is. I believe it's on Saturday.
Is that what it is?
So, yes, if you need anything for Sweetest Day, yeah, you're good. I actually forgot about it since I talked to you last Saturday or last Tuesday.
Yeah, I want to make sure
Yeah,
Brock doesn't forget me on Sweetest Day. And so for that, so if somebody's looking for something, Sweetest Day, boom, Ozzy's right there. And I always say go on and just walk around the showroom. It's kind of like a museum in a variety of ways, but it's, neat in a variety of ways, too. So if that's on the horizon, then you got suggestions, right?
I do. If you just want to do a little something small for somebody just to celebrate that at any time of year, even if it's Sweetest Day or any other day, we have this line that is fairly new to us. It's a silver jewelry, but it's either triple coated in platinum or triple coated in yellow gold. And then they have simulated diamonds. So not natural diamonds, not even lab diamonds, but there's these simulated diamonds that look like diamonds. We have these beautiful earrings and necklace sets, so you can buy them separately. There's beautiful bracelets. They look like diamond tennis bracelets. They're really, really nice pieces of jewelry, and the price point is great. I want to say they start maybe like $65, $70, and then go up to a few hundred. But they're beautiful pieces. So if you just want to do something small, come check those out. They make great gifts. And then, of course, we have the diamonds, lab and natural. If you want to go all out, I wouldn't be upset. Somebody wanted to go all out and get me a new diamond necklace. It'd be great. But yeah, so we have a little bit of everything there. And then always watches, too. So watches start at $100 and go up from there.
And with the holidays around the corner, gift cards are always a possibility. People who aren't sure, I get something, what if they don't like it? A gift card is always available. And I know you're busy with gift cards every single year, right?
We are. In fact, we just sold one yesterday. A gentleman came in and he said that he wanted to do a little something special just as a surprise for his wife. And he asked us if we could put money on an account for her in our store. And the answer is we can't necessarily put it on an account there, but we can give you gift cards. So if that is something you're interested in doing, just pop in every so often and pick up another gift card. She can save them until they reach a certain dollar amount to purchase whatever it is that she wants to buy. So we do sell gift cards. We do sell them, as you said, most often closer to the holidays, whether it's Christmas or Valentine's Day, Mother's Day and Father's Day, but we do sell those quite often. So come on in if you want to do something like that. I think it makes a great gift.
If you want an appointment or a question answered, 332-7900 at any time, okay? And Brooke and everybody at Ozzy is more than happy to help you in a variety of ways at any time of the year, not just in the middle of October. Brooke, when I need that battery change, we'll be over there because it's easy to park right in front, go on inside, and then you never know. There might be something else you're interested in at the same time. Say hi to everybody, especially Sammy. Congratulate him. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk again next Tuesday.
That sounds great. And Brock, I hope you come in too so you can get Tim that Sweetest Day gift.
Yeah, I need a new battery for my watch too, so I got to come in and do that.
He'll be in there. There you go. What a break for you. Yeah.
All right.
What a break for Ozzy. Ozzy is the official jeweler of the Sparrow Stout on Sports. Before we get to the top of the hour, ESPN is reporting a quote from Oregon coach Dan Lanning, okay? He was either praised or accused of deliberately having 12 men on the field on a key play in Oregon's 32-31 win over Ohio State, okay? Oregon took the lead with 1:47 to go on Atticus Sappington. By the way, it's a great name, Brock, for a football kicker. Atticus Sappington.
That's a great name.
19-yard field goal. And it gave the Buckeyes time to drive down the field for a potential game-winning field goal. Ohio State faced 3rd and 25 at Oregon's 43-yard line. The Ducks called a timeout with 10 seconds left. Just before the ball was snapped, the Oregon defensive back walked onto the field, giving the Ducks a 12th player on the field. Ohio State failed to complete a pass against the 12-man defense on the next play. Oregon flagged for an illegal substitution penalty. Ohio State gained 5 yards, but lost 4 seconds off the clock since the penalty was deemed a live ball foul. The Buckeyes then were left with 6 seconds on the clock, and quarterback Will Howard scrambled up the middle, sliding a second too late for Ohio State to call timeout for the potential winning field goal at Oregon's 26. So Dan Lanning, the head coach of Oregon, that ploy helped the Ducks win the game, and he did it deliberately because he got seconds off the clock and was willing to do it for a 5-yard gain. I think either way it was a bit risky. And there's nothing necessarily unethical about it. You can say the rule perhaps needs to be abridged, and it might get changed in the offseason.
Yeah, because of that. We'll see.
Because the team that committed the penalty is the team that profited in the long run.
Right.
I didn't blame Will Howard for that at all. I mean, they knew they didn't have much time left, and he's trying
when
to get
you're getting
him
down to 5 or 6 seconds, it's tight.
I mean, it's going to be tight either way, and he didn't miss by much. Ohio State had other issues on that last drive, and it was no guarantee that even if they would have attempted a field goal that it would have been made, but we'll never know. Yeah, I claim if they play again, I'd make Ohio State anywhere else in the country about a 10-point favorite. And I think any place else but Oregon Stadium that night, Ohio State would have won. But they didn't do it when it was played in Oregon. Oregon gets the 1-point win, and who knows if they'll match up against each other down the road. 1 hour is in the book. We got another busy hour ahead. You can join us on the Culligan Water Hotline at 342-63. We're rolling on a beautiful day in mid-Michigan. It's the Tuesday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Mid-Michigan radio home for Lions football is The Game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN, East Lansing.
A Town Square media station.
Meet
the best in sports talk starts now on the only station the people of Lansing turn to for sports. The Game, 7:30 a.m. Welcome to the second hour of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, starring Tim Stout on The Game, 7:30 a.m. You can call the Dean on the Culligan Water Hotline at 517-300-4263 or drop him an email at tim.stout@wilx.com. Now, celebrating over 30 years on the radio in Lansing, here's the Dean of Mid-Michigan Sports, Tim Stout.
Hour number 2 this morning brought to you by the 2 Wash World locations, man. They were hot and heavy yesterday, as they are most of the year, and certainly today, but they'll get you in and out right away. It's a fast wash at Okemos and Jolly Road and I-96 at the MLK exit. $2 off on Wednesdays. That's tomorrow. Gift cards available. Always free vacuum service. You've got a great wash in and out right away, even if there are many cars there, because they figured out how to do it at the 2 Wash World locations. We always appreciate it when Dave Ellis joins us. He was in Marquette over the weekend for the coronation, if you will, of Tom Izzo returning home to the Upper Peninsula. I believe he's back in the area, but let's find out. Are you home yet, or are you still on the UP?
I left right after the game. I was back by about 10 o'clock on Sunday night after 3.5 days that amounted to 82 hours. I spent 30-plus driving, and 5.5 of that after midnight on some nights. So it was a busy week.
We were in Charlevoix and Mackinac City, and people going north. And first of all, there were a lot of people in northern Michigan this last weekend. The colors are in and all that. What I didn't take into consideration going up and coming back was all the road construction. But by the time you were going through there, maybe it wasn't a deterrent, or was it?
Not bad. The only thing for me in the UP on Sunday afternoon was a lot of people in a rainy situation that really didn't know where they were going. So there were clearly a lot of people in from lower Michigan into the Marquette area to go see that game. I met up with a couple of them, and people were really excited to see it, and I think enjoyed the event. It was just getting there and getting back that was probably the biggest hassle.
So that Superior Dome, if I understand correctly, that is an all-wooden structure. There must be some other steel support in there somehow, and if it's all wooden to begin with, are there fire issues there that have to be addressed to make sure that something catastrophic doesn't happen to it at any time? What about that?
Well, the joints are all metal for sure to get them together, but the rest are all fir timbers. And other than the concrete base that they've got everything assembled, yeah, it's all wood. And Of course, you're going to get some flame retardant things onto the surfaces, but the roof is so high in there. I mean, you'd have to build a pretty darn big fire to reach up to where the timbers are up on the top. It's a very high roof, and obviously anything that's wood is going to have a flammability portion to it, but that's never really been an issue there, and I don't think that's been a real concern even since the dome opened in 1991.
So from what I did see and what I have seen in the aftermath, Izzo returning to the Upper Peninsula, I haven't seen a welcome like that since Julius Caesar entered Rome, to be perfectly honest with you. And I knew it was...
Julius Caesar was not really welcome when he came back into Rome the first time. That's probably the difference.
Well, if you didn't welcome him, you were going right to the Colosseum to be to be on the floor, and and then you can go fight the lions. But I knew that was basically going to be a 3-day coronation. So in the aftermath, give me the thoughts of what you saw and what you observed and what you made of it.
I did get a chance to talk to Rick Comley on the floor, and said they did a great job. I sent you the pictures of the issue they had with the turf to get that up, and went over and looked at the turf roll, and you could see they had to cut a lot of AstroTurf away to be able to get that thing back up. So it cost them a little bit of time in getting set up, and that took away a little bit of the fun for Northern Michigan. But other than what Rick said they had to pay to bring in the bleachers that were on the floor, he thought they were probably going to break even, and the chance of doing it again was pretty remote, but they aren't ruling it out to be able to do something like that again. It was very well received in the area. There was a little bit of a kind of a drizzly rain on Sunday morning, so not really the big festive atmosphere outside, but people were lined up outside the doors, even in the rain, to get in as quickly as they could. And you could see a lot of people when they came in, immediately their eyes go up and they're looking around and saying, this is really cool to be able to do that. So if nothing else, like Rick said to you when he did the interview, the PR that you're going to get from this for Northern Michigan is you can't put a price on it. They got really good media in a lot of places, and BTN did a great job of putting the show together. I think it would be a much more special event to be a one-off, but I'm not 100% ruling it out that it couldn't ever happen again.
Like if you were to do it again, what would the matchup be?
Yeah, that's a good question. Who you could convince to come up there with the same kind of storyline is the question there. But it was the only other thing that had been in the Dome that had drawn that many people was a speech by then President George W. Bush in 2004, and they had that right around 10,000 people. This was well north of 11,000 that were in there. So it's already been certified as the largest indoor event that's ever been held in the Upper Peninsula. And that's a big undertaking to be able to get all the infrastructure around it. Parking was actually really well handled, and all the crowd control, and people really well behaved. And to do it again, you'd really have to have a great motivating factor to go up there and do it a second time. But we didn't think the Cold War would ever happen again any other places here, and now outdoor hockey games are the norm. So maybe it's something that's just a trendsetter, and it could be something that's more of an annual event.
Was there a Michigan State fan presence of any type among the 11,000?
A ton. I would say probably shaded 55-45 Michigan State, because a bunch of people that were there, fans of the UP, because of Tom Izzo, have really gravitated toward Michigan State in the last 30 years because they feel a connection. Well, they've never gone to a game and seen him in person. And to be able to be there, it's a little harder to tell, too, because remember, green and white for Michigan State, green and gold for Northern Michigan. And they were trying to make sure that every Wildcat fan was wearing as much gold as they could to really distinguish between the two. But there was definitely a large Michigan State presence and very local Michigan State fans, which was great. And Tom stuck around on the floor longer than I thought anybody ever would, to take pictures and meet people and shake hands, and he really enjoyed it. I got to talk to Lupe, and she said it was something he's always dreamed of, and it's more than he could have ever expected. Did they fly up and fly back, or fly one way and bus back? How did that work? No, he wanted to bus them just to kind of throw it back to the old days. Hey guys, you really want to get the experience. This is like what we used to do back in the day. But no, they flew in on Friday afternoon and flew back immediately after the game. Well, not immediately after, because they still stayed in glad-handed for a while, but they flew back on Sunday. So when they got there Friday, what time? What did they do the rest of Friday and all day Saturday? Yeah, they did the afternoon, just kind of touring around. Tom took him to see the house that he lived in when he was an undergrad at Northern Michigan, which was, I'm sure, eye-opening for a lot of the guys that looked around. And when I did my sit-down interview with him, that was the big thing he wanted to impress upon these guys was, look, I go to see your homes in Chicago and Cleveland and Detroit, and you've never really seen where I come from. So I really want to show you and give you a flavor for what the place is like. Steve Mariucci started a place called the Beacon House that it supports families that are at Marquette General Hospital or UP Health System up there to give them a place to stay when they're in the Marquette area, because that's the regional trauma center. And you have to go probably a couple hours if you're a UP resident to get to Marquette and see your family members that are at that regional hospital there. And the Beacon House does a great job of providing a place for them to stay. And Steve Mariucci has been supporting that one along with his wife since the inception of the place. So Tom took the team to Beacon House and let them hang around there for a little bit, which was great. They did get pasties. I know they talked about it, that they wanted to give them pasties at some point, and I think that was either a Saturday or a Sunday breakfast that they had them for. So, I mean, that was real hair of the dog type stuff that, you pasties in the morning, that's a very UP thing to do. So he gave them as much of a local flavor as they could, and I think they really enjoyed it.
What was the halftime entertainment, if there was any?
Not a ton. I mean, Northern Michigan had they brought up all the Michigan State staff. So Kevin Paga was actually the public address announcer, and they did a lot of games that you'd be familiar with at the Breslin Center and in between, but a lot of presentations, and the Northern Michigan full marching band was there up in the stands. They didn't come down to the floor, but nothing out of the ordinary. There wasn't like the Red Panda or somebody like that. They had everything they needed to for the storylines and for the fans for that venue. So I think most people during that halftime just kind of took the chance to walk around and look at the place and maybe see the NMU Sports Hall of Fame down on the one end and really just kind of drink in the whole atmosphere of the building.
Were you surprised that Michigan State hockey coach Adam Nightingale was there just hours after his team finished up with Boston College?
Nope, I knew he was coming. In fact, I tried to talk him into getting me on the plane with him so I wouldn't have to drive up from South Bend, because I worked the Notre Dame Stanford football game on Saturday. And, of course, I mean, 2 times in the history of Notre Dame Stadium, they've had a weather delay, and the second time was Saturday night for an hour in a 42-7 game. And I'm sitting there waiting like, guys, I want to get on the road here. So I didn't get to Marquette then until probably quarter after, maybe 3:30 in the morning, something like that. The only thing it helped me on was at least that cleared out the crowd and there wasn't a lot of traffic coming out. But, yeah, Adam is really, really likes Tom Izzo and considers him to be a really valuable mentor. And, he spent time in the UP, too. He's from Sheboygan, right across the water from the UP, and spent time at Lake Superior State. So he knows what kind of a big deal that is up there. And his old coach is Rick Comley. So got a chance to see him. I sent you the picture of the 3 of us down on the floor. It was kind of like being at a Michigan State hockey game 20 years ago, back in 2004, having Rick and Adam and I together.
So when the Notre Dame game got delayed, what did NBC do, and what did the crowd do during the delay?
The crowd vacated. The only people that stuck around were the ones in back of us that were in the Gucci seats up there. They stuck around because they had food on the inside, but there was at least a portion of the student section that went down and I think stayed on the concourse because Notre Dame will let you stay there. But they were evacuating people to 5-6 different buildings and different gates around. When the gates finally opened back up after an hour and 2 delay, there wasn't a ton that came back in, but there were a few. NBC went back to the studio for a little while when the game resumed because they would have been right up against Ohio State and Oregon. They actually moved the game on cable to CNBC and then streamed it to Peacock. So it did not go back to NBC proper.
So you're telling me you drove through the middle of the night after working all day to get into the Upper Peninsula, and it was 3 o'clock later in the morning. That's yeoman work or crazy, one of the two.
It's crazy for sure, but it was the second day in a row that I did that because I actually worked a women's soccer game on TV in Houghton on Friday night, which ended at 6 o'clock, and then I drove straight from there to South Bend and got in right about 2 a.m. So, yeah, it was a lot of driving, and I actually at about 11:30 on Saturday night when I hit Houghton Lake, I completed a very weird full loop around Lake Michigan. It wasn't really the Lake Michigan Circle Tour because I didn't see the lake very much of it, but I went all the way around the lake in about 36 hours.
Do you think in the aftermath, Northern Michigan University would have done anything different during the entire weekend?
That's a good question. Only being there for a portion of it from when I came in. I know they did a great job with having fan events for the first 2 days. They did a big dinner for Tom on Saturday night where they actually officially retired his jersey, and that was very well received. But I don't think there's a ton they could have really done any differently. They would have liked better weather for Sunday, but you can never control that. The fall colors were absolutely spectacular in the Central UP, so that was great for anybody who was coming in and out. And I think they got very high marks from everybody there, from BTN as well. I think the only thing that BTN had a complaint about was that nothing's pre-wired in the Superior Dome. They had to drag in and drag out all the cables that they were using. So it was a little harder for the crew than what would be a normal stadium that's got everything pre-wired in. But other than that, even the crew was really excited to be there. I talked to the camera guys that said, yeah, this is a bucket list thing for me, too, to be able to do that. I have been asked already, where would you rank it in the events that you've worked, and it is firmly inside the top 5 of games that I've ever done. I really had a great time, even though I was only there for I guess just a portion of it. But we hosted an hour-long pregame show on the local NBC station up there, your Gray Station friends at WLUC, and we had some great guests on. Had Mike Garland came on with us, and the best question of the entire day was, all right, Coach G, when you were in college, did you ever think you'd see the day where Tom Izzo would have his jersey retired? And he came up with, that is an unequivocal no. It would have never happened. So he was great, and everybody on the show was really fun, and it was really cool to do that, and then just jump in with Lisa Byington and Bill Raftery. And it's probably the easiest stat day I'll ever do because there was nothing stat-based about that broadcast. It was very much celebrating Tom Izzo and bringing on, they brought Steve Mariucci on the phone during the game. They had the two coaches talking to each other on headsets, and it was really a unique event, and I think really cool, and definitely one that I'll remember for a long time.
Northern Michigan University football and hockey was on the road. Do you know how they fared at all?
Yeah, Northern was lucky enough to get through all the weather delays that were over on the West Coast. I know that Western Michigan had a long weather delay in their game against Akron with all the thunderstorms that were going through Kalamazoo. Northern Michigan was in Allendale playing Grand Valley and ended up losing that game 45-17. They're in a bit of a bad patch right now, but they do have the new team in the GLIAC Roosevelt next weekend, and if Northern's ever going to get a win, that's going to be it. I got to listen to a lot of Northern Michigan hockey during my drives because they were playing out at Colorado College and took the Tigers to overtime on Friday night and then kind of fell a little short on Saturday, but got a chance to listen to those on the way too, and I'm sure that the only thing that the Northern Michigan hockey team was mad about was they didn't make it back in time to get to that game at the Superior Dome. The football team did make it back. They bust back and got in, I'm told, right around 5 a.m. and came right back over to come see everything at the Dome. So all the other Northern teams, the lacrosse teams, the soccer teams were all working and throwing balls in the toss promotions and helping out around the building. And it was a real team effort, and I think a great bonding time for Northern Michigan. They all had a great time over the weekend.
I have a Ferris State hockey fan emailing. Ferris State gets swept in hockey by Western Michigan 4-1 and 5-1 at home. Sorry, Bob Daniels. The mountaintop of April 2012 is long gone. It's time to let a new Adam Nightingale type take the reins in Big Rapids. I'm just the messenger.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, that Bob Daniels has earned the right to exit on his own terms right now. And it's Western Michigan's a tough team and a very tough one in a matchup for Ferris because they play that heavy game. And when you're in a smaller building, it makes it even more effective. So the Broncos are going to beat a lot of teams this year, and that will make it I think you're going to look back at those and say it wasn't so bad to get swept by Western. That's going to happen to a lot of teams. I do want to mention to you, Tim, that the BTN schedule for hockey finally did come out last Friday, kind of lost in the shuffle right before the Boston College game on their air. They did modestly increase the number of games that they're going to show overall to 28 from 25 from last year, but Michigan State was the biggest benefactor. They went from 3 games on BTN last year to what's going to be now 11, and 6 of those are home games, 3 on the road, and the 2 neutral site games, 1 at Wrigley Field, and then the duel in the D is also going to be on BTN. So if you can't get tickets now, you got a much better chance to at least see Michigan State hockey on television this year, thanks to BTN's expanded schedule.
All right, before I let you go, with all your college football television background, are you surprised the Michigan State game is at night? That will make 5 consecutive home games, at least 7 during the season, and is this a trend that's going to continue?
Well, the biggest surprise for me is that, okay, it's at night, but it was on BTN. So BTN had one game last weekend. They've got one game this weekend, and now they have a triple header that weekend, one at 12, one at 3:30, and then the night game. So we've gone from the days where you would be trying to see 2 or 3 games being played in the afternoon in the Big Ten Conference to now it's spread out to there are 2 at noon, there are 3 at 3 o'clock, and there are 2 on at nighttime. So the network is what really surprised me. I didn't think that I would ever see Michigan State, Michigan on BTN, that it would fall that far down the pecking order. So, yeah, I mean, I guess night games are a TV necessity, and BTN thinks that they can get some numbers that way. Obviously, it was far enough down that Fox didn't pick it, CBS didn't pick it, NBC didn't pick it, and that was the best of the bunch remaining for BTN, and they wanted it as a night game, which was really weird to me that they were the network that decided to put it on at night.
And the last 3 still to get a kick time. Indiana home November 2nd, at Illinois November 16th, Rutgers home November 30th. A hunch on any of those 3?
I would say with 7 night games already, I wouldn't think there could possibly be another one. But what's the record before this year was 3? Was the most night games Michigan State had played in a season?
I think, yeah.
And all of a sudden we've more than doubled that. So I can't imagine that they would do another one, but I didn't think they would do the last 2 as night games with Iowa and Michigan. So all bets are off. This is going to be the year that we figure out what it's going to be like going forward. I guess this is the new track record is being set this year.
And yet, our general sales manager at Channel 10, Rick Serrata, came to Fred and me 4 to 5 weeks ago. He's strolling into the office. Hey, boys, check it out. He says the Iowa and Michigan games are going to be at night. Check it out. So we do. We call everybody under the sun. Oh, no, that hadn't been determined. No, I say to Rick, where'd you get this? He said, the NBC boys are telling me those 2 games are going to be at night. Well, say what you want. Both are at night. NBC's got Iowa, okay, and Michigan's at night. I don't know whether NBC thought that was going to go elsewhere than NBC, but it did, but they're both at night. So from now on, instead of asking all these people around here, oh, no, that hadn't been determined. Oh, no, that hadn't been determined. Well, guess what? Somebody knew about it and they may have been guessing on the Michigan game, but they said they knew the Iowa game NBC was going to end up with. Now, the last 3, like you say, I mean, it's mind-boggling. But what I also don't understand, Dave, why would you make the Michigan State-Purdue game Friday night, November 22nd, and that was predetermined before the season ever began?
I guess Fox wants to get their plane tickets ahead of time and save a little money. That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, that one to me, to me, the old line, good seats are going to be available, happens there. I'm over by 7 minutes. I knew you had a lot to report. Thanks for checking in. Where are you this weekend?
I'm home. I get volleyball on Friday night. I'm working in the booth for NBC on Saturday, and I'm doing volleyball at Cliff Keen Arena on Sunday. So a triple header, but I don't have to go more than 60 miles, and that's going to be very welcome for me and my car.
And has NBC got the A-team calling that game on Saturday night here?
Yes. Yep. Noah Eagle will be here. I'm on the other end of the stat line for the guys in the box because they have an insulated crew that they go with him. So he's got his own stats guy that travels, but I will be in the official Michigan State booth calling all the stuff over to them on the other end of what I would normally be doing. But I'll be on the crew, and I'll be over there, and I'll come see you someplace around the tailgates, and we'll visit on Saturday.
Very good. Talk to you then. Thanks, Dave. Dave Ellis, he's our insider on a whole bunch of stuff. That's a lot of driving, Brock, and that's a lot of driving in the middle of the night.
Kudos to him.
To break we go, and back we come. Culligan Water Hotline 342-63.
Still got more emails you didn't even get to?
I got a million of them.
Okay, then we'll get to that.
This is the Tuesday Sparrow Stout on Sports. This could be your favorite sports bar in Lansing. Arts Pub, Kalamazoo Street in Lansing, serving all 3 shifts. Downtown in Lansing, 977-1033 for questions or carryout. The menu is at artspublansing.com. Closes at 11 p.m. each day. Outdoor seating, serves great cocktails, no reservations needed. Mellow game day hangout, serving a wide menu of pub grub and pizza and a shuffleboard table. Greg Sinacropi has done a great job making Arts Pub spectacular spectacular downtown. You never know what time of year you're going to need the talented people and services of Doty Mechanical, 615 South Waverly in Lansing, one of the terrific service companies in our area through the years. Heating issues, cooling issues. You need a generator. You need plumbing help. All of that and more from the great technicians at Doty Mechanical. They carry the Carrier products. They're the exclusive distributor in the area. 327-7777, 327-7777. When you need that kind of help, call Doty Mechanical. Of all the recommendations that I've ever given you on this program through the years, no one goes higher than the Munn team for real estate advice. John and Jan Munn work as hard as anyone in the business, trust me, and they truly are realtors who get results. John's cell phone, 881-6623. Jan's at 282-6781. And when they put the 1-2 whammy on a sale or to get you the best deal possible, you have the best people working for you. The Munn team, realtors who truly get results for anything real estate. We've partnered for years with our official pizza, Cottage Inn Gourmet Pizza. You always get fast delivery and a variety of specials every day. Order online at cottageinn.com. Convenient locations all over our area, especially East Lansing and Okemos. Cottage Inn Pizza offering a wide variety of gourmet pizzas, and you can build your own just the way you want. Handmade dough closes at 11:30 each night. Way to go, George Hoover, with the continued growth and success of our official pizza, Cottage Inn Gourmet Pizza.
This is the Lansing Sports Network Minute from the Lansing Sports Network News Desk.
I'm Steve Goff. Dylan Larkin and the Red Wings tied up their battle early against the Rangers last night.
Fakes the shot, cuts wide, centers it out in front, and Dylan Larkin scores.
The legendary Ken Cal on the call. The Wings would ultimately give up the next 3 goals, dropping the game 4-1 and falling to 1-2 on the season. Detroit plays host to New York Thursday at 7 at Little Caesars Arena. MSU tennis star Ozan Barish wrapped up the 5th day of play at the ITA Midwest Regionals with a big win in East Lansing yesterday, becoming the first MSU singles player to do so. The men's team travels to Winston-Salem, North Carolina for the next 4 days for another tournament. From the studios of the Lansing Sports Network, I'm Steve Goff.
Find more and stay up to date at LansingSportsNetwork.com or in the Lansing Sports Network app.
You're so coy, alluring, angel with a wicked smile, sleeping 20 hours a day, never lay a paw on dusty clay. I'll keep your litter natural, no chemicals in your nostrils, just corn below, so every time you go you'll know your don't stink. World's best cat litter for the world's best cat.
There's never an off day at Royal Scott Golf and Bowl just west of the airport. Sign up now for indoor golf leagues. Same with bowling for all levels of ability. Book your parties, gatherings, special occasions at any time. And remember, Royal Scott Golf and Bowl is affordable for everyone. What a jewel for more than 50 years in our community. Thousands have enjoyed it, okay? Royal Scott Golf and Bowl. And you can too. Fun for the whole family, to be sure. Check out now all the great ways you can enjoy Royal Scott Golf and Bowl.
Does your money need to get a job? You've worked hard for it, and it should work hard for you. Lazy money is just sitting there not earning its keep. If you have lazy money lying around, call McIntosh & Associates, 877-222-8849. You might have lazy money lurking in a savings account at the bank, collecting very little interest, or in an old 401k that you haven't checked on in years. Or maybe it's in a CD that could be earning more. Wherever your lazy money is, it's time for it to start earning its keep. The team at McIntosh & Associates can help you find ways to put your money to work. Call them now at 877-222-8849. You could be leaving a lot of money on the table by allowing it to sit on the couch. Get your lazy money a job today. Call 877-222-8849. Investment advisory service is made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor.
Does your business struggle with poor cell service inside the building? Poor cell signal in the place of work can create communication problems with internal staff and outside clients. The Antenna Men are cell signal pros. They've provided solutions to clients all over Michigan, and they'll provide solutions to help your staff be more productive in a great way. Cell Signal Pros also has solutions for homeowners as well. Go to the Antenna Men and Cell Signal Pros. Google the company. It's great in many different ways. The iconic Coral Gables restaurant on Grand River Avenue in East Lansing, more than 90 years young, with so many loyal customers, so pleased that Coral Gables has survived the pandemic and is bigger and better than ever. Catering, carry-out, employment opportunities, all of that at 337-1311. And the fish fries are spectacular on Friday night. When you've got some time to spare with friends and family, you know what the history's been like around that restaurant just east of the campus, Grand River Avenue. You'll always enjoy Coral Gables Restaurant, East Lansing. All right, as we roll, Tuesday, that means half-price Conies today at Sparty's Coney Island and Friend are open till 2 o'clock. Half price on Tuesdays. Tell Dominic behind the counter whenever you're there that we sent you. And for grocery convenience, in and out right away, we always remind you about Tom's Food Centers at Okemos and Portland. The Antaya family created Tom's Food Centers to make it convenient for you. Open till 10 o'clock at night as well. Tom's Food Centers for you daily in Okemos and in Portland.
From Comerica Park to Jackson Field, we've got the sports opinions that matter to you. From the Driven Collision Studios, we make friends by accident. On the Game, 7:30 a.m.
Time now for our Innovair High School highlight, okay? Innovair, an award-winning store at 905 Southland Avenue in Lansing, Jim Baker's creation. Innovair is your office furniture dealer working to creatively build functional and inspiring interior designs for your office, campus, or facility. This is the 100th anniversary of the Michigan High School Athletic Association. And, of course, the Boys State High School Basketball Tournament has been legendary in many ways through all the years.
And this March will be the 100th Boys Basketball State Tournament. Coming March.
Let's see how good Brock is with this.
Okay.
I've got some numbers here from the history of the Boys High School Basketball.
And I'm not cheating, folks. Go.
The Capital Area Activities Conference.
Which has been around for about, 20 years or so, let's just say?
Collectively, how many Boys State High School basketball championships have won by CAAC teams? Collectively, how many state championships have been won by boys?
Oh, my goodness.
Through the years, how many would you guess have been won? And toward that end, which of the current CAAC schools has won more state high school titles than any other?
I will say as a total, 18. And who's won the most? Sexton.
Very well done. Sexton has won 4.
Okay.
That's the highest, and the total for the league is 14.
Oh, I was a little bit on the high side.
14 state championships.
And that counts Williamston, I believe, who won it just 3 years ago.
Which school has played more games collectively in the state high school basketball tournament from the CAAC conference through all the years, just adding up the number
from districts all the way through.
All the way through. Who's played more games?
I'll say East Lansing.
Sexton has played 185 games in the history of the state high school basketball tournament.
Wow.
Here's one you might not get. Of the current CAAC teams, which one has the highest winning percentage through all the years, and which one has the lowest winning percentage?
Oh, they have that?
We got it.
Oh, my goodness.
I've got it for you right here.
The highest winning percentage.
The highest winning, I will tell you what it is.
Go.
674. That's the highest winning percentage.
I'm going to say East Lansing.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
Lansing Catholic has won 91 and lost 44.
Okay.
135 games for a 674 winning percentage.
Okay.
And ironically, the lowest percentage of all the schools in the CAAC in the history of the state high school basketball tournament, 34%. Grand Ledge.
Yeah, I was going to say Grand Ledge because Grand Ledge has never even won a regional title. They've won a few district titles here and there, but Grand Ledge has never won a regional title in boys basketball.
So there's your historical.
I figured it was Grand Ledge.
That's your Innovair High School historical highlight in the 100th year of the Michigan High School Athletic Association. 14 state titles. Williamston is the one that won the most recent, right?
In 2021, that great team that they had that will join the Greater Lansing Sports Hall of Fame years from now. 15, 20 years from now, they will be inducted. That
28 no.
That was a great team, and they beat a outstanding Grand Rapids Catholic Central squad to win that. It was Grand Rapids Catholic Central. Yeah, they won that game in overtime. That was a great game.
Innovair is a nationwide company. It's here for you in Lansing. Thank you, Jim Baker, for creating it. A proud Technion furniture dealer. Innovair, the industry's fastest growing company. Your source for design and space planning, installation, and decommission. Let the Innovair team visit your space and offer expert insights. You can call 253-8718 or visit the store at 905 Southland Avenue in Lansing. Today, Innovair saluting all those teams in the Capital Area Athletic Conference, the local conference, okay, through 100 years of the State Boys High School Basketball Tournament, and you got the numbers there.
That's good stuff right there. I see this from Michigan State. Junior centerman Charlie Stramel was named the Big Ten's third star of the week. He had a pair of goals in Michigan State's 4-3 win over Boston College this past Saturday.
I thought he might be the second star, but apparently I've been overruled.
He was the third star of the week.
Now, it's ironic that our Gillespie High School salute today is a player who got ejected from his football game on Friday night. But he's had a remarkable career, and he's going
had a heck of a game Friday until he got ejected.
We're talking about East Lansing High School senior quarterback Ben Fletcher. While he was in the game at Everett, Everett was leading 14-3.
Yes, they were.
But he went 12 for 16, 216 yards, 3 touchdowns, and East Lansing rallied to win over Everett on the road to keep their high school playoff tournament chances alive, 39-26. East Lansing wanted to go to 4-3.
Yep.
I don't know whether he has to sit out part of the game, but they're playing Waverly, and you would think that East Lansing, even without the starting quarterback, can beat Waverly.
I don't know the exact rule on that. Jeff Kimmerly would, or Mark Ewell, if he's listening, he'll text one or both of us to tell us that. But yes, he committed 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties on the last touchdown that either with the leading touchdown, the winning touchdown, or the touchdown after that by Jace Clarizio. 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, which got him ejected in the fourth quarter.
But he's had a remarkable career for 2 years as the East Lansing starter, made the playoffs a year ago, and very well
Tim, that's got to be a first. You name somebody
who got ejected from the game.
Yeah.
But when he played,
he had a very good game.
He brought him back, and he's had a tremendous career in East Lansing.
He had a huge conversion on 3rd and 20 in the fourth quarter when it was 26-all. And he converted a 3rd and 20, 24 yards to Noah Fortman, and that was Owen Fortman, I'm sorry. And that set up the Jace Clarizio touchdown and then the touchdown after that.
Well, he is the Gillespie Group Sparrow Stout on Sports Daily High School Salute. The Gillespie Group reminds you their Join Our Team campaign is in full swing. They have career opportunities that might include you. You can check out info online, Gillespie-group, .com/careers, or for any Gillespie tour, call 679-7364. With the Gillespie Group, it's not just about managing properties, it's about creating a welcoming environment where every guest and resident knows that you are truly appreciated. That's Pat's philosophy, been that for years. 679-7364 for the Gillespies, who salute the career achievements of East Lansing High School senior quarterback Ben Fletcher. We'll take a quick break and come back. I've got a lot of emails to get caught up on. Our email address, tim.stout@wilx.com, or you can join us on the Culligan Water hotline at 300-4263 on a busy Tuesday. Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Here's what's on tap today here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. Coming up, after we're done at 1 o'clock, it's ESPN Radio. Then at 3, it's a full 3 hours of the huge show. Over on 1240 WJIM, 7 o'clock tonight from 1 Northwest over on the west side. It's another edition of the Adam Nightingale Coaches Show. That's from 7 to 8 tonight. And that's on 1240. And that's what's on tap. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
You're looking for a little quaint bistro for a getaway at any time after work? Well, the hot one in the area, as usual, in East Lansing Sidebar. right next to Abood Law, okay, Abbott and Saginaw. It's wonderful for lunch or dinner or any special occasion where you don't want a jam-packed crowd, but there are televisions there to watch all the big games and a nice, quiet getaway. Try Sidebar, Google Sidebar. Take a look at what all they have for you. A wonderful menu, quaint, cozy atmosphere. Sidebar in East Lansing. Our friend Val Orlando has done so well with City Limits in Mason, right? Well, he also has an all-state insurance agency that you hear us talk about all the time. He has a new location now with same great service. Stop in and say hello. The new All-State office next to the Secretary of State's office on Cedar Street and College Road, just off 127. Call for information on all-state insurance options at Val Orlando's agency at 969-5300. That's 969-5300, Val Orlando's All-State Insurance.
At Shaheen Cadillac of Lansing, you drive the future with luxury at your fingertips. Experience our lineup of eye-catching sedans and SUVs. Cadillac is the next generation of high-end technology where remarkable comfort and attention to detail change the way you drive. Meet with one of our product specialists today or begin your experience online at ShaheenCadillac.com.
Get this 2024 Cadillac XT6 for just $592 a month.
Relax and enjoy the Shaheen difference.
One of the most popular restaurants in our area for years continues that way. Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road in East Lansing. As the saying goes, eat at Woody's, live longer with a Mediterranean cuisine. And now the menu has some wonderful new items they're all excited about. Chicken kafta, along with their Woody's burgers, gyros, fries, and a whole lot more. For all the information, the website, woodysoasis.com, or call 351-2280. Woody's. Eat at Woody's, Trowbridge Road, East Lansing, and live longer. You need a family physician at any time for any issue. You want Lansing's veteran Dr. Thomas Jameson, who has faithfully served thousands of mid-Michigan families for more than 50 years. He's a member of the SEMA team now, Capital Internal Medicine Associates. His office phone, 374-7600, and his office at 3955 Patient Care Drive. Dr. Jameson has helped so many people in so many ways. He gives physicals to athletes at the same time. Dr. Thomas Jameson for you. Michigan Plumbing, a leading provider of plumbing, drain cleaning, and water heater services to homeowners in the mid-Michigan area. And you can get an expert in your home free for an evaluation. Call 322-2994. 24/7 emergency plumbing and drain services for the entire mid-Michigan area. All home plumbing emergencies, all makes and models of equipment. What a great company it is. Michigan Plumbing, and they're right when they say we exceed your expectations. See for yourself. Michigan Plumbing today.
We sit excited on the bus, the sidelines, courtside, in dugouts, waiting for our shot, driven by greatness. For decades, Dean Trailways has delivered athletes safely to their battlegrounds, not as a spectator, but as a teammate. Much more than a job, a true calling with all the purpose and performance that champions possess. Join the Dean team today and experience what it means to be driven by greatness. Go team, go Dean. DeanJobs.com.
You love Italian food. The Superstar restaurant in mid-Michigan, clearly Spagnolo's on Grand River Avenue, 3 miles east of the Meridian Mall. Award-winning pizza and Italian specialties from Mama Silvana and Amy, like you'll find nowhere else, believe me. Mama Silvana has provided her special recipes for more than 3 decades. Dine in or carry out. Call 349-9605. Closed Sundays, but what a special place. Spagnolo's Italian Restaurant in Okemos. If you've been there, you know exactly whereof I speak. Real estate help. You want the MUN team. You want the best in real estate in the area to help you, whether you're buying, selling, or getting advice. And this is a hot time of the year. John will help you on his cell phone at 881-6623. Jan's cell phone, 282-6781. Let the MUN team help you.
Sports fans unite. Let's go! This is the one place you can call home for all things sports. We're the Game, 7:30 a.m.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios. The Driven Collision story of the day thus far, I guess Devontae Adams being traded from the Las Vegas Raiders to the New York Jets. It is not a done deal yet, but it's close. Everybody
for a third-round pick.
For a third-round pick.
Conditional, could go to a second-round pick.
So if there's an update on a Driven Collision story of the day, we'll get it. Most of the email requests we get, we try to fill. The one that just came is going to be tougher to do.
We get this message via our app because you can send comments through our app. Good morning. Could you get Hal Schramm on to talk about the high school football playoffs? Who are the favorites around the state? Well, it's going to be kind of difficult because, unfortunately, the great Hal Schramm, the Swami himself, he's no longer with us. Tim?
How many years ago did he die? 25 years ago, 30 years ago, something like that, the great Hal Schramm?
Mick McCabe would know because he's the son of Swami.
I mean, I have to admit it's a compliment to the late, great Hal Schramm that people are requesting his opinion on the state playoffs 25 years after he died.
He passed away May 20th, 1987, according to his...
It's been more than that.
It's been,
41 years. That just shows you the high esteem.
37, but close enough.
Well, 87. Oh, yeah, 87. 37.
He was only 68 years old, Tim.
Well, I mean, that shows you the high esteem he's held in when 37 years after he died, people are asking to get him on the air so he can give us his opinion on the playoffs.
I mean, Tim, if you got Hal Schramm...
That's just high esteem.
Tim, I
mean, that's respect.
If you somehow got Hal Schramm on the radio from the great beyond... I mean, that's the all. There would be all-timer interviews. That would be the all-timer interview.
What would your first question be? I know what mine would be. Hal, who's up there with you? I mean, anybody I know who's up there with you?
Yes.
I'm going to peel off a few names. Have you seen so-and-so up there with you?
You should ask how members of your family are doing.
Well, I mean, like I say, the highest praise I can imagine is that 37 years after the guy died, an email came in and said, can you get Hal Schramm on the air so that he can give you his analysis of the state playoffs?
Good morning.
I mean, that's...
Good morning.
I mean, now that's what I call respect.
Could you get Hal Schramm on to talk about high school football playoffs? Who are the favorites around the state?
So I guess the answer to the question is no, we can't. And I don't have a phone number to the Beyond like Brock says if we can get him from the Beyond.
Now we get another message. Mick McCabe then. Nick McCabe.
Oh, Nick McCabe?
Nick McCabe.
I don't know Nick McCabe. I don't know Nick McCabe. But you know what? The next time McCabe's on, we got to tell him that. We got an email said they didn't want you.
No, here's the two. It's from the same person. I'm not going to say who it was. Good morning. Could you get Hal Schramm on to talk about the high school football playoffs? Who are the favorites around the state? Then came back and said Nick McCabe then.
Yeah, well.
N-I-C-K, not Mick.
See if we got a phone number for Nick McCabe, if you can find that.
Yeah.
However,
do you want to take Rick Comley now or wait until after the top of the hour because he's calling right now?
Let's get him at 12:05 if he can do it because I want to ask him and congratulate him about all the effort that Northern Michigan University put in. Well, him we can get on the air because he isn't like Hal Schramm.
Not Nick Comley, Rick Comley. I swear to you folks, that's... I wish I could tell you I was making this stuff up.
Well, the one thing is the callers we get, man, you can't fool them. I mean, you can be gone. I would like to have the respect that 37 years after I'm long gone, somebody calls, say, can you get Tim on here asking who he thinks is going to win a state game coming up on Saturday? Or, words to that effect.
Right.
What if it's only 36 years and I still won't have something on Hal Schramm? If we can do Rick at 12, because I texted him this morning because I know he had a busy weekend.
And he's listening right now on hold, by the way.
We wouldn't have much time with him. Although it's up to you. It's whatever you want to do. I mean, I know he's busy.
Get some more emails, or maybe someone will talk about Nick Comley or something.
Well, I got emails in here. I don't have one as good as that. This one says, Tim, I don't know if you already answered my earlier question. I was on a phone call. How will Michigan and Michigan State do this Saturday? I would like to get Brock's opinion on this question also. Well, my response is, why in the world would you want Brock's opinion? He doesn't know how to get out of his own way, let alone come in out of the rain. I don't trust Iowa. Okay, Iowa's a 6.5-point favorite. I don't trust Iowa. He wants to know. He says, I want to know Brock's opinion, too. My answer was, why do you want Brock's opinion?
Exactly. No, you're right.
He doesn't know when to come in out of the rain.
I can't pick games. There's weeks on our pool, college pool. I can't even pick my nose.
First of all, I like Illinois, given 2 against Michigan.
Yeah, you like Illinois to win.
I like Illinois to win straight up. I think
Coach Rick Comley will call back at 12:05, and he was laughing right along everyone else about. Good morning. Could you get Hal Schramm on to talk about the high school football playoffs? Who are the favorites around the state? Okay, Nick McCabe then.
Well,
Nick McCabe. He thought that was funny.
So, well, I hope he's laughed more from the because he was busy this last weekend.
Sure.
So the guy wants to know, who do we like, Michigan State? I don't trust Iowa. I just don't trust them. So do you
think Michigan State's going to win?
I think the game's going to be close.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
I think State's a 6.5-point dog. I'd flip a coin and probably take State. I just don't trust Iowa.
Okay.
I mean, they won 40-16 over Washington. If they'd have
That's a surprising score.
Well, if they'd have won it at Washington, I would have been impressed.
Right.
But I don't trust Washington.
Right.
Washington's coming off a home win over Michigan.
Right.
Then they go on the road and get blown out at Iowa. I think the whole key to the thing is Cade McNamara, the quarterback. I mean, he got hurt early in the game last year. Of course, State still couldn't pull it out. There were special teams plays that gave Iowa enough points to win the game at Iowa. I think the bye week gives State a little better chance to prepare for this. In a very close game, I think I'd take State.
Okay. The bye week factor.
Now, in the office, that's not a popular pick.
Oh, I would imagine.
In the office.
How many of them?
You tell me. Do you like State or Iowa? Iowa's a 6.5-point favorite.
I think State wins a low-scoring game because I don't trust, like you said, I don't trust Iowa's offense.
I think Illinois has a better chance at home to beat Michigan than does Iowa a chance to come in here. I don't, like I was telling Brad this morning, when I look at these games, it's not who I think's going to win.
Right.
It's who do I think's going to lose.
Tim, I don't trust Illinois either. I
don't, but they've been pointing for this game.
But are they going to be way too high?
No.
I've seen teams get way too high and then they just end up losing.
Illinois has somewhat of a hatred for Michigan because I think they've been jobbed in a couple of these games the last couple of years. And I think Illinois has been pointing for this game, which hurt them against Purdue because they kind of slacked off when they had a 24-point.
And Illinois is good. This isn't like Illinois is a dog team. Illinois is good.
It's their 100th anniversary of the stadium, and they're making a huge deal out of it, blah, 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 the whole deal. I mean, Michigan's got to show me some offense. And I don't want to hear about the quarterback that scored a couple times at Oregon or Washington. I don't want to hear about that.
But he's the best guy they have. Because Orgy's no good, and neither is Warren.
Well, I mean, to be tactful about it, they need more production at quarterback, and whether they have someone who can provide something reasonable in big games that they have. I have to see that first. And I think Illinois is going to score on them.
Okay.
I just think Illinois. I
think Michigan's defense let them down against
I'm
Washington.
looking at something like 24-14.
Okay.
Something like that.
That's a fair score. Tim, that's a fair score.
I just don't think Illinois. Michigan lost 13 guys to the NFL draft. If those guys were all back playing, I love Michigan blowing them out. But they don't have those guys anymore. And the replacements to me are not the guys that they lost to the draft.
I don't think
including the quarterback.
I don't think the wide receivers are as good either.
They aren't.
But that's other than Colston Loveland.
They keep telling me how great those two running backs are. That's all fine. I'd like to see those running backs when they've got a balanced offense that can throw the ball so that you're just not lined up to stop those two guys. And sooner or later, going to wear them both out.
But on the other hand, without Khalil Mullings, they'd be 1-5 right now.
So
he's their MVP. Khalil Mullings, without questions, their MVP.
And I would say this to Illinois: if you're ever going to beat them, you better beat them Saturday because they'll reload. And I don't know whether you can. If you're ever going to beat Michigan, Illinois, you better get them at home this Saturday in the big 100th year anniversary of the stadium game. Rick Comley will join us in a moment, and we got more guests in the third hour as well as we roll on with the Tuesday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Get everything for your next project at Menards. Tackle tough jobs with Loctite Power Grab. This all-purpose construction adhesive is easy to use and bonds to a variety of materials. Plus, it's high strength, paintable, and reduces the need for clamping with 0-second instant grab. Save big money on Loctite Power Grab at Menards and check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Sports talk and the best play-by-play in Lansing. It's just what we do. We're Lansing's #1 source for sports talk. The Game, 7:30 a.m. Welcome to the third and final hour of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, starring Tim Stout on The Game, 7:30 a.m.
Hour number 3 this morning is brought to you by Capital Region International Airport. Breeze Airways nonstops Lansing to Orlando and Fort Myers and back, right? And you'll also find Apple Vacations with 3 new nonstops to the Caribbean beginning in January. There's so many other destinations whenever you can do it. We like to remind you that it's very convenient when you can fly Lansing first. We always appreciate it when he has a few moments because it's a busy job. Now, I bet when he was coaching college hockey, that was busy, but when you're the athletic director at a college anymore, they're 24/7 all year long. Rick Comley's the athletic director at Northern Michigan University in Marquette, where the big weekend has now come and gone, although the rest of the fall season has not come and gone for all the other fall sports. Rick's on our line. Morning, Rick.
Morning, Tim.
I appreciate your time. So I'm likening Julius Caesar entering Rome to Izzo returning to the Upper Peninsula this last weekend, if there was any comparison, and it's exactly pretty much what I expected. And it appears to me that he had a pretty good time.
Well, I think he had a great time. I think their comments were no one has ever seen him smile as much as he was smiling from the time they left Lansing to arrived in Marquette's Road. The weekend was magical. It was, you dream of events. You hope they turn out. And then this turned out better, I think, than anybody could have imagined.
When you were the coach here in the hockey program for 7 years, did you have much interaction with him through that time? And if so, what was the conversation, generally speaking, around? He needs your advice, you need his advice. And toward that end, was there much to compare between hockey and basketball in those years at Michigan State?
Well, I was there 9.
Not what's a few years? 9, not 7. 9.
Yeah. And we talked, but I mean he's busy. So certainly it wasn't weekly or anything like that. But Tom's available as people need, but again we talked, and I think hockey's kind of back now to where it was, and everybody's thrilled about that. I think there were major adjustments with me coming and Ron leaving, and that's been documented. So I think if I needed something and I talked to Tom, he's available. But I can't tell you that we talked or spent a great deal of time together.
So did you figure the amount of planning for this last weekend was going to be what it became, or was it more than what you expected looking back?
I think from the time that we knew this was going to be reality, it was overwhelming. And again, my whole staff is about a third or a quarter the size of Tom's basketball staff. So for us to put an event like this on, we couldn't have done it without Michigan State in all of their various areas, from marketing to everything. Kevin Blaga was tremendous for us. And so it did work. We had to bring in all areas of our campus. And, we ended up with more people in the Dome than live in the city of Escanaba. It did work, but there were hiccups. There were the eventual setup. When the Michigan State people came into the Dome, with the team, their first reaction was, wow. Because it really was the feeling of a mini Final Four. We've spent a ton of money on a gamble. And I wanted it to look right. I wanted it to present properly. I wanted Tom to have smiles. I wanted him to leave here with, that complete feeling, this was what I hoped for. This is what I perhaps expected, and maybe beyond that, And so, Tim, we had people lined up for blocks to get in the building. I mean, you couldn't get a parking place. Everybody left with a smile. So it turned out perfect for us. And then the Big Ten and Bill Rafferty here and Lisa and the presentation. We don't get that up here. I mean, we're a Division II school who's drawing in hockey 3,500. Everything else is 1,000. So, this atmosphere for this community, for this school, and what we will gain out of it from it, beyond belief.
You told me earlier that we hope we make some profit out of this. Did that turn out to be the case too early yet, or is it more break even or even less than that?
It could be all of the above. We're not going to make a ton because, we don't have seats, so we had to bring in bleacher companies. We have seats, but to make it look right and enough floor seats, we paid a ton to bring a company up here to erect all of that. Michigan State, and I mean this with respect, doesn't travel like Northern Michigan travels. We would have got on a bus and been there, and it would have cost us $1,000. That corporate jet that they use and that big travel party, But again, every dollar spent is worthwhile. I don't think we'll lose money on it in the end. We're not going to make a ton of money for sure.
Were you surprised Adam Nightingale was there?
I wasn't, because I knew he was coming. But it's him, right? I mean, it's just, and it's Craig Williams from Acrisure who made that happen. And so I think he had fun up here. He saw people that, Zach McCollin was with him. It was great for me to see them. But, again, I actually sat out there Sunday morning after the setup and just had a smile, because as people started to come in the building, you said, you know what? And Tim, we have brand new AstroTurf. It just cost us $2 million to put our new turf in. We rolled it up for the first time, or tried to, on Thursday. We couldn't get it up. We couldn't get it in on the new roll. And it took us from 5 in the morning on a Thursday till 1 in the morning the next day to get close. And we even didn't get it up until Friday, to the point that we could begin to set up seating. There was a risk that darn turf wasn't coming up, and so it was a major panic for a long time. And it ended up perfect. And, I wish you had been here, because, I think you get the true feeling of how good it was, of the magnitude and the fact that a school like Northern Michigan could pull this off with Michigan State's help, tremendous help. But in the end, it was worth every ounce of energy. And we brought people from all over campus to be here in this building. We had police people from all over the Upper Peninsula here helping with crowd control and seating, and then Bernie Sanders was here 3 hours later, and everybody had to go from the Dome over to our Northern Center for security over there. So it just, and we just finished getting it disassembled and the turf out, because we have a football game this coming Saturday. With that, so I laugh about it, but I'm dying to watch the replay, because I've seen all the pregame stuff. I haven't seen the actual game, but and Steve Shearer, the Big Ten producer, was magical, and he was so good, and our staff worked so hard with him, and just the respect to Tom. And I was so thrilled. Tom had his mother here. She's 98 years old, and he thanked her, and it was so emotional, and his whole family, and it was just, it was great. I'm thrilled.
Did you get any sleep through the week leading up to it, or during the weekend and toward that end? And it's a dead serious question. Are you exhausted now?
No sleep. Yes, I'm tired. Again, I'm not 35 years old. So,
that's why I asked.
But again, I know. It was taxing. It was taxing on my entire staff. Big time taxing, but worth it.
So
100% worth it. And their president, was here the whole weekend. And Alan Haller was here all weekend. In fact, the president, as he was sometime in the game, I think it was second half, came up to me and thanked me again and said, "Rick, we're coming back." And I thought, well, that's great.
Is that good news? Is that good news or bad news?
Can we do it? Can you do it?
Can we make this a home and home?
Yeah, right.
Was it legitimate that this game was planned on the weekend that Michigan State had a bye in football, or was that coincidence?
No, it was planned. It was planned because, we needed their staff to be able to do it, and there's no way that Kevin could have, I think, orchestrated all the people from, not only do we have hundreds of people from Michigan State working, we had thousands of people from downstate who came, who might have gone to the football game at Michigan State if they had played. So it couldn't have happened, without that bye.
So with whatever...
And, Kevin... I was going to say, Kevin creates the Big Ten football schedule.
Yes.
So he was able to coordinate all that.
Because they don't play an exhibition. Their next one's with Ferris at home, but that's 16 days down the road. And I thought this has to be no coincidence that this game is during the bye week. Although they do have a bye week in November, but that's after their regular season schedule has begun. So whatever the because I'm not familiar with that area, with whatever the Marquette community and the Northern Michigan University community feels about athletics there, do you think, generally speaking, the locals have a change of attitude in any way now that this has come and gone?
Yes. I think it's created a positive belief that we are moving in the right direction, that we're doing things, that people are kind of excited again, about and the visibility for the institution enrollment-wise, and the fact that it was on the Big Ten Network and it's played all over the country. You can't get that. This was that opportunity, the largest indoor event ever in the Upper Peninsula. And you can't beat it. There's no facility anywhere. There's no opportunity to bring that many people under one roof, and only the Dome could create that. And it will lead to other things, other requests. We just have to understand them. We have a limited staff, and so we'd love to do other things, but it's what can we get to? We have high school football playoffs here now, but you can't set it up like we set it up. It's too expensive to do that.
What did you do during
the things we could do?
What did you do personally during the game itself? Where were you?
Well, I was courtside, but we had so many things going on. Every time out, there was something. So I was on and off the court repeatedly, as part of different things that we're doing. And something would come up and, you get somebody coming over, Rick, you got to come in. What do we do with this or what do we do with that? And, so it was busy. It was busy but fun. And you know what, Tim? The game was fun. Like, obviously we might have one player, maybe two, who could be part of his roster. And so it was never a question of winning and losing, but both teams played extremely hard, and the referees let them play. So there were some fouls called, but every layup was contested, and the crowd loved it. They loved the battle, even though it wasn't a question of how close it was or winning or losing. It was close enough to be entertaining, and the quality of play was good enough. Tom would want much more out of his team and would get it in a different setting, but it just didn't appreciate the event because you have a major Division I power versus a good Division II school.
Right.
That didn't interfere at all.
So are my sources correct in telling me in the aftermath of this could lead to a 5-year contract extension for you? Moving.
There is zero chance, my friend. Zero.
I said, the good news is the thing went off just like they hoped. The bad news is he's going to get a 5-year contract extension.
It would be remote. Can you do that from Florida, remote?
And for all of your Florida ties, I can only imagine what it'd have been if you'd have been stuck down there during you ought to see the personal issues I've got with 4 family members in 4 locations, many of whom are displaced for a year because of those hurricanes. And I thought about you in Marco Island, but but you weren't there. There are no hurricanes in Marquette. There may be snow up there, but there are no hurricanes. So
no tornadoes, no hurricanes. That's right.
No tornadoes. Well, congratulations. I knew it would be well done. And to me, what helps too is Northern Michigan did not get blown out. They were competitive. That team looks pretty good to me. I don't know what the GLIAC's going to be this year, but you must like your coach. And I could tell he enjoyed it too.
Yeah, big time. He's a good coach. He's a very good coach. Has a bright future. The team is very competitive. We don't have those 7-footers. So it's a smaller version, for sure. But no, it was. I can't tell you, Tim. It was just of all, like I've been part of national championships. I got more of a thrill of this event happening and coming off and the entire weekend than I have at any point in my athletic life,
including 2 national hockey titles.
That's right.
That's Brock. That's strong. Because I think winning 2 college hockey titles at 2 different schools, one of whom's Division II and everything else, is pretty strong. But I'm not surprised that it did. I thought it would. I didn't. Like I say, my line to Izzo is I've seen Julius Caesar entering Rome, and he didn't get what he got going back up to the Upper Peninsula. But I think it's credit to Tom as well that he, because he has always credited his upbringing to the Upper Peninsula, and he's proud of it. It's obvious of that through all the years, and I know he enjoyed enjoyed it and he was looking forward to it. You know, the other thing, Rick, October's a good time, too, because, you know, you're not involved with getting ready for the season, all that. It's a little bit, it stands on its own. And that stood on its own this weekend in a lot of ways. I know you agree with that.
Well, you know, 100%. Like, I think if he ever had any doubt about the impact he has up here, I mean, they came here for him. Sure, it was Michigan State, but it was Tom Izzo. And he was so accommodating. He told, I think, his coach, you guys coach, I got other things I got to do. You know, from interviews to constant this and that and signing autographs and being a part of things. And he played him to a T. You know, and the reception that people gave him was total love, total appreciation. I don't think there's any question in his mind what he means to the Upper Peninsula, and probably the greatest impact in the Upper Peninsula than anybody else ever, including perhaps Mariucci. You know, and that's pretty tough to do. They're a package pair, but we are so appreciative of Tom and coming back and helping be the lead player in this whole thing. And again, it was great.
Well, be sure to tell the staff, don't slack off now. Get that AstroTurf back down because you got a football game at home this Saturday. And so
it's down.
I appreciate your time as usual. Say hi to the family. I'll be recommending a very long contract extension now, and there'll be at least a couple $100 more in pay at the same time too. So I'll talk.
Well, you're a great voice in Michigan, my friend. That message I do not need sent.
All right, thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. Stay in touch. Rick Comley is the athletic director now at Northern Michigan University. I knew that I mean, you have to know that when, after he thought he was relatively retired, he was at a flower show up there with his wife, and they called him and said, our AD, I think, was going to Duluth to take the same job at Minnesota Duluth. We need you to come back on an interim basis. So he said, well, yeah, I'll be in Monday. I'm at the flower show right now. So he goes in Monday. You knew that was going to change. But, when you stop, and he went into the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame a year ago. Our oldest, nominated. Tom couldn't believe that he was not in the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. Like he says, go look at all the great college hockey coaches who didn't win 2 national titles, let alone 2 national titles at 2 different schools, let alone at a school that's a Division II in another sport.
In every other sport, yeah, pretty much.
And I forgot it was 9 years. I thought it was 7. And time flies when you're having fun. And But then I knew they trusted him a great deal because, he knows the limitations what Northern Michigan University has compared to what it is at Michigan State. Like he says, Tom's got more on his own basketball staff than we have here in the whole athletic department. But congrats to them all. More in a moment. You can join us on the Culligan Water Hotline 342-63. It's the Sparrow Stout on Sports. A high five to Dewey Bramson's 3 great area restaurants of different offerings. Beggar's Banquet, Abbott Road, East Lansing, off the main strip. A superstar in the area since 1973. Great happy hours from 4 to 6 Monday through Friday with a wonderful wine and beer list. Great for private parties. The Nut House, downtown Lansing, across from the ballpark. Michigan Avenue. Any great gathering is there for you before or after big events. And the Harrison Roadhouse, Michigan and Harrison in East Lansing. A bustling bar and grill with hearty pub grub and a whole lot more. Those are the great 3 from Dewey Bramson. For 65 great years, iDevelopment has been such a contributor to our community. What's the latest? Here's Nathaniel Ide to fill us in. Nathaniel?
Good morning, Tim. We're excited about a lot of things going on in the greater Lansing area. And whether you pick a quadrant, the north side, south side, east side, and west side, we're seeing small businesses grow. In retail at Hannah Plaza, we've got a number of new businesses. At Meridian Point near Trader Joe's, we have an expansion of our big Anchor Crunch. But whether it's retail, residential, commercial, office, we're here to fulfill the needs of small businesses, large corporations. We're here to help. Whether it's land development, whether it's build to suit, we're here to help the community grow, and we're here to help Greater Lansing grow. And that's what we're about.
That's what they're about for sure. For 65 years, one of the great companies in our state, the Eye Development. Infinity Chiropractic, serving our area for 40 years under the ownership of Dr. Harry Satimi. Their offices cover the area between East Lansing, St. Joe Highway, and Lansing and Grand Ledge. They're always accepting new patients. They welcome patients of all ages and enjoy caring for infants, children, expectant mothers, and families. Stop in at any of the 3 offices and be sure to find a family you'll see that are having their spines checked and fixed. A total of 6 chiropractors between the 3 offices. Infinity Chiropractic. As we like to remind you, Pure Green Smith Tree to the rescue for any outdoor landscaping issues that give you a problem at any time of the year. We're in the fall season now, and it's time to aerate the lawns everywhere. Call 703-1111 to get on the schedule because the Pure Green technicians are busy with thousands of customers. And if your trees and shrubs need trimming or removal, you be sure and call for an estimate. What a great company. Pure Green Smith Tree at 703-1111.
This is the Lansing Sports Network Minute from the Lansing Sports Network News Desk.
I'm Steve Goff. Dylan Larkin and the Red Wings tied up their battle early against the Rangers last night.
Fakes the shot, cuts wide, centers it out in front, and Dylan Larkin scores.
The legendary Ken Cal on the call. The Wings would ultimately give up the next 3 goals, dropping the game 4-1 and falling to 1-2 on the season. Detroit plays host to New York Thursday at 7 at Little Caesars Arena. MSU tennis star Ozan Barish wrapped up the 5th day of play at the ITA Midwest Regionals with a big win in East Lansing yesterday, becoming the first MSU singles player to do so. The men's team travels to Winston-Salem, North Carolina for the next 4 days for another tournament. From the studios of the Lansing Sports Network, I'm Steve Goff.
Find more and stay up to date at LansingSportsNetwork.com or in the Lansing Sports Network app.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
It's another big sports season at Smokin' Pig Barbecue on Elmwood Drive right across from the Lansing Mall. They've added NFL Sunday ticket at the bar. You can watch all the NFL games, certainly the college games, on Saturdays. Open at 11 a.m. each day. Catering is spectacular. Questions at Smokin' Pig, call 582-5100. Their smoked barbecue menu is packed full of all the smoky classics, from pulled pork to ribs to spicy rib tips, and they have Lansing's barbecue favorites. Smokin' Pig Barbecue. Enjoy the sports seasons. The prestigious Abood Law Firm has offices in East Lansing and Birmingham and has been around since 1956. 332-5900, Abbott and Saginaw and East Lansing. Abood Law understands it's essential to get an attorney involved in your legal issues as early as possible. If you're dealing with legal problems, contact Andrew Abood and his great staff at Abood Law in East Lansing immediately, and you'll get the help that you need and can depend on. Abood Law, we heartily endorse Andrew Abood, Abood Law, 332-5900. The official printer of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, ASAP Printing at the Jolly Okemos Plaza. Plenty of parking in front. Call 349-7300. This is Ed Giles' 31st year with a company that has grown every single year. Posters and signs, they're a specialty, but even business cards or anything smaller is there for you. You want the most reliable printer? Take our word for it. You don't need to go bid anywhere else. ASAP Printing for you in the Jolly Okemos Strip Mall.
Shop low prices and great deals all week long at Meijer. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more on hundreds of items across the store, like General Mills cereal, Swanson broth, and 12 packs of Coca-Cola or Pepsi products. Plus, shop our huge selection of Halloween items for spooky good savings. Get 25% off Halloween costumes and buy 2, get 1 free Halloween snack or jumbo-sized candy. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Brookshire Inn in Williamston says sign up now for all the holiday parties coming up. You can do that at 655-4694. Don't forget the Emerald north of St. John's in mint condition. The colors are gorgeous at this time of the year. Let Jay and Katie Eccleton help you with any special occasion at the Emerald north of St. John's. Royal Scott Golf and Bowl just west of the airport. You'll love that place every day of the year. There's always something going on, whether it's golf, bowling, or anything else. There you go. Good suggestions this morning from the Sparrow Stout on Sports.
From Mud Ice Arena to Little Caesars Arena, we've got the sports opinions that matter to you. From the Driven Collision Studios, we make friends by accident on the Game, 7:30 a.m.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios here at WVFN Radio. I do have emails, and that's the statement that Rick made there. When you stop and think about that, how many coaches in retirement who won 2 national championships at the highest level of their sport? 1991 at Northern Michigan University, national champions, Division I, and then 2007 at Michigan State. And he says it was a bigger deal that it came off as well as it did in Marquette this weekend as the athletic director there. The biggest high for him over anything else he'd done in sports. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, that's something.
I have emails here, and we didn't get to this yesterday, but I will now. The Lansing Lugnuts, Jesse Goldberg-Strassler, is notifying all of us today. He says we're trying to spread the word that at the View, that's the restaurant in left field at Jackson
Right
Field.
next to Good Hops. It's the meeting area, yeah.
Coming up on Friday is a 1 p.m. tribute at Jackson Field this Friday to the late Javier Cavazos, who passed away this last Friday at the age of 77. It's open to one and all. He passed away. He's in the Lansing Sports Hall of Fame.
Greater
right?
Lansing Sports Hall of Fame. He's in the Michigan Baseball Hall of Fame. He just got put in either this past summer or the previous summer, one of the two. I can't remember.
So the tribute is at 1 p.m., and I don't know how many kids he helped learn to play baseball in a variety of ways through a very, very long time, and a very humble guy in a variety of ways. I don't know all the details of the latest stages of his life. I knew that he'd had some health issues to some degree, but he passed away on Friday, and I mean, all of us through the years have done stories on him, but in retirement and when, he was not coaching full time in the later stages of his life, you didn't hear nearly as much about him. But that does not diminish in any way what he contributed to so many kids in baseball in the area, and advice and counseling and mentoring and all that. So if you're interested, for the late Javier Cavazos, who passed away Friday at the age of 77, a 1 p.m. gathering at the View at Jackson Field coming up. And again, that's this Friday. Okay, so there we go. We got that in. Now, the laughs this morning came from an email asking us to get Hal Schramm, who was known as the Swami for years, as the great high school writer for the Detroit Free Press.
And the Mr. Basketball Award is named after him.
I have this email that just came in. Hi, Tim. This is the ghost of Hal Schramm. Yes, I made it to heaven, but I have yet to see Joe Falls. So that came in this morning for you, because I said if we can get a hold of him, my first question would be, who's up there with you?
But then after Hal Schramm, he said, okay, Nick McCabe then.
Yeah.
Not Mick McCabe, Nick McCabe with an N.
Yeah.
And then I got another message. Stephen Mason sent this one. Please see if you can secure an interview with Charlie Vincent to discuss the Tigers' magical run this year. Thanks.
The late great writer of the Detroit Free Press, who covered Big Ten sports in such a way, who had a glare down after one of the Michigan State-Indiana basketball games in the Breslin Center with Bob Knight that I won't forget anytime soon whatsoever. No word. Charlie asked him a question, and then the glare began between both, and he was standing by the door in the media room, and Knight just glared at him as he left the room. And, of course, that was after an Indiana loss. Hi, Tim. Here is your 10-point pick because I'm in the spread.
Right.
I'll tell you my 10-point pick this week. I'm 2-4 on the 10-point picks in our pool. But I'll give you the one I got this week, which is a little off the rail. The one I had was Alabama, 21 and a half over South Carolina, and they barely won a game.
Everybody had that
He says
one.
Illinois, he says getting 2 at home. I guess that's right. I guess Illinois is, a 2-point underdog to Michigan. He says Mike Pearson mentioned it last week that Illinois is pulling out all the stops for this game, celebrating the 100th anniversary of the stadium. Add to that, Brett Bielema has been talking about getting robbed at the Big House for 2 years now, and this is his first chance to avenge that. Illinois will roll in this one. I think they got caught looking ahead during the Purdue game. Take it for what everybody can have an opinion before the game.
My 10-point pick is Colorado plus 3.5 at Arizona.
My 10-point
I think Colorado's
pick,
going to win.
I can tell you it's in the Mid-American Conference. It's Ball State at home giving 20.5 to Kent State.
Ooh.
I have Bowling Green. Bowling Green.
All right.
I've got my 10-point pick. I'm going down to the MAC. Because with the big boys, I've tried to take the big boys, and the big boy, and I've lost Michigan twice.
I know.
The worst one that I'm never going to get over is Michigan 9.5 at home over Minnesota. And they led 24-3 when I left for the tailgate show.
You were irate.
It ruined the tailgate show. And then I thought, if you're not going to cover, then I want you to lose. Either cover and I win with
And
you,
Michigan almost lost that game.
and almost lost the game.
Yep.
After leading 24-3 in the third quarter, what I thought was a safe cover. So I lose the 10 points on that.
Yep.
I was miserable the rest of the day on principle alone.
Yes, you were. By the way, for your viewing pleasure tonight, there are 3 college football games tonight. We are into...
And by the way, this ain't exactly Oregon-Ohio State tonight.
But here you go. And, Tim, I know you'll be flipping back and forth a little bit here and there.
Well...
I said a little bit.
It's going to be brief.
I said a little bit. At 7:30 p.m. on ESPN2, 1-5 Troy is at 2-4 South Alabama from beautiful Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. South Alabama is an 11-point favorite. The total in the game is 54.5. At 8 o'clock on the CBS Sports Network, Kennesaw State at 0-5. Yes, they're a Division I school now in football. They are at 1-5 Middle Tennessee. From beautiful Johnny Red Floyd Stadium in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I've been there before. Middle Tennessee is an 8.5-point favorite. The total is 50.5. And then finally at 9 o'clock tonight on ESPNU, 2-3 Louisiana Tech is at 1-5 New Mexico State. From beautiful Aggie Memorial Stadium in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Louisiana Tech is an 11.5-point favorite. The total, 49.5. Got to get the important stuff. Got to get the spread, and you got to get the over-under total in there as well.
All right, so on the Lansing State Journal website, there is a story about Javier Cavazos, and I didn't mention more about him because I didn't have all the details from memory.
I found out Saturday afternoon that he had passed away.
So from the Lansing State Journal website, the writer is Ken Palmer. He says that he spent nearly 60 years, and his pupils included John Smoltz, Magic Johnson, and many of the best girls players. He created the Northside Athletic and Recreation Club, and out of that came Lansing Original Little League, okay? Says he spent his life coaching kids ages 8 to 16, mostly baseball and girls basketball. I didn't know he did girls basketball. Did you know that?
I knew he did basketball. I didn't know he did girls basketball. I knew he did basketball as a whole. But anyway, go on.
So he's quoting from a published obituary, which is not in the paper. Now, the funeral is at 11 a.m. Friday at 2142 Community Church, which is on Bennett Road in Okemos.
Okay.
With family receiving friends at 10 a.m., visitation noon to 3 and 5 to 8, Thursday at Palmer, Bush, and Jensen Family Funeral Homes in Holt. Let me read that again, because there's a 1 p.m. Friday celebration of life at the View, which is you don't go through the stadium to get in there. You go on the outside of left field to get into the View.
Exactly. They'll open up those doors. I'm almost certain they will.
So if the funeral's at 11 a.m. Friday, then obviously it transfers to the View at 1 o'clock. And again, that's at the Community Church on Bennett Road in Okemos. And the family receives friends beginning at 10. The visitation noon to 3 and 5 to 8 Thursday at Palmer Bush. So there's that. He was a native of San Juan, Texas. Javier Cavazos, as the Lansing State Journal website story says, worked for the city of Lansing and for Yellow Cab as a taxi driver, but his passion was sports and local youth. Where Ken Palmer got all this, good for him. Cavazos founded the Northside Athletic and Recreational Club in 1964. He formed the Lansing Original Little League in 1972. He coached Lansing youth in the Sandy Koufax Baseball, Babe Ruth Baseball, Pony Baseball, and Michigan Parks and Recreation Baseball leagues, numerous state and regional titles. His standout players included Smoltz, Bruce Fields. He coached junior pro basketball, which featured Magic Johnson, and YBOA basketball for nearly 40 years, and several of his players advanced to the collegiate level. He was inducted into the Greater Lansing Sports Hall of Fame in 2007, the Michigan Baseball Hall of Fame at Jackson Field in 2021.
Oh, it was 3 years ago now. Okay.
And then now I remember this. He did retire from coaching after he went into the Baseball Hall of Fame. So let's see, is that, and there are quotes throughout this story. It's long, too, and understandably so. He is survived by his wife of 52 years, Julia, and 7 siblings. And it says here, as of late Tuesday morning, which is today, a GoFundMe campaign had raised $3,200 of a $10,000 goal to help the family with expenses associated with the celebration of Cavazos' life. And the campaign page can be found, it says here, which is the Lansing State Journal website. So that story in the Journal, well done today, about a remarkable leader in the community in a variety of ways. He's at the Dick, in my opinion, the Dick Letts level of those who've committed, who've helped in the community in a variety of different ways. Okay, I would say.
Do you want to take the call? He wants to talk. JC in Lansing wants to talk about Javier Cavazos as well.
After the break, we got one final break.
You want to do that after the break?
Why don't we do it right through the break?
That's
okay,
fine.
And then we'll get back with more.
I've got some other Pure Green Smith Tree breaking sports moment that's high school related. We'll do that on the other side too.
This is the Tuesday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Culver's in the Eastwood Town Center. You always mention Stout on Sports at that one location. You always get 10% off. Open 10:30 to 10. You can even call in advance to have your order delivered to you curbside right on time. No waiting in line at 374-1301. Okay? You'll love all the different options you have from Culver's, especially at this time of the year when you want to use the drive-through. Culver's has been red hot. Again, call in advance with your order at Culver's in the Eastwood Town Center, 374-1301. Golf season never ends at Indian Hills in Okemos off Hamilton Road. A little 9-hole course, which is great for league play or for beginners. But in the off season, that's where they make clubs, repair clubs, change clubs, adjust clubs. J.C. Peterson says anytime, call us 349-1010. And anytime when you're looking for special gifts, they always have special closeouts in their pro shop. 9 holes, Indian Hills in Okemos, 349-1010. If you want a club adjusted, call J.C. Peterson.
You're not sure your knees can handle 18 holes, but I am.
You can't imagine a morning without pain, but I can.
You've never heard anybody make that sound, but I have.
I'm Dr. Michael Shingles.
Dr. Arjuna Cuddyback.
Dr. Andrew Scorfar.
We've seen it all.
And now you can see us here at University of Michigan Health Sparrow.
Mid-Michigan's nationally recognized orthopedics and sports medicine center.
Learn more and find a highly skilled specialist at ufmhealthsparrow.org/orthopedics.
Dreaming of a fun and affordable getaway? Breeze Airways can take you there. With Breeze Airways, you can fly direct from Lansing's Capital Region International Airport to Fort Myers and Orlando for just $79. What are you waiting for? Go to www.flybreeze.com or download the Breeze app to book your trip. Breeze Airways offers flexible and friendly policies, so you can always travel with peace of mind. Come and see why we were just awarded the 2024 Apex Award for Best Seat Comfort in North America. With Breeze, traveling from Lansing to fun, sunny Florida destinations has never been easier. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
$79 no flex fare promotion is available only when booking a new reservation for LAN, RSW, RSW, LAN, LAN, MCO, and MCO, LAN. Promotion must be purchased by October 31, 2024, 11:59 p.m. ET for travel from September 24, 2024 through February 2, 2025. Price displayed includes taxes and government fees. Fare prices, fare classes, rules, routes, and schedules are subject to change or exemption without notice. Any changes or modifications to qualifying promotional reservations will be subject to fare repricing. A difference in airfare at the current fare price may apply. Other restrictions and blackout dates may apply.
Hey, there's Matt Rhodes here at Dusty's Cellar.
Cellar. It's Michael Patrick Shields with Fuzzy Math, as you know. I'm here for my October 6 for $66 wine club, and this looks like there's a little trick-or-treat headed our way.
Yes, Michael, as a thank you to all of our loyal wine club members, we're offering 7 for $66 for the month of October, and you get to choose your 7th bottle, being red, white, or rosé.
You have to be a member of the club to get the 7 bottles for $66?
You do not. This is a thank you to all our existing club members and for those who'd like to join the club.
Hey, that's a very nice invitation. So no cost to join the club, no ongoing commitments, discounts on everything you buy, wine, beer, all of it.
That's right. You got it, Michael.
I'm in for a club pack, and I think I'm going to get a gift card for a business client. How can they get redeemed?
That's the nice thing about our gift cards. They can be redeemed in the cellar, wine bar, or the tap room. Very versatile.
Oh, so they can go in the store or come on in for a drink or have dinner or lunch and that sort of thing, too. And you can join me and Matt Rhodes at Dusty Cellar. It's on Grand River in Okemos and online at dustycellar.com.
Cheers, Michael Patrick.
One of the great success stories I've seen in Lansing business through the years is the growth of Desmond Ferguson's Moneyball Sportswear, founded in 2002. The former standout area basketball player already has a gorgeous store in the Meridian Mall, and his new headquarters location now at 927 West Saginaw in Lansing, it's up and running. Moneyball outfits hundreds of athletic teams worldwide, and its athletic leisure wear draws rave reviews. If you have questions, call 393-0763. You're a winner when you outfit your team or yourself in Moneyball Sportswear. Way to go, Desmond Ferguson. Moneyball, the only way to ball. If you're thinking about home renovation or adding or changing a deck at your home, you want Custom Built in Okemos. For more than 15 years, Custom Built Design and Remodeling has been the leading full-service design, build, remodeling company in mid-Michigan, and owner Michael Flory has built it from the ground up over the years. If you're curious about what the difference between a general contractor and a design build company is, you got to Google Custom Built in Okemos to see all they can do for you. We swear by Custom Built in Okemos, a great renovation company. Prestige Wine Imports, importers of a distinguished and diverse portfolio of high-quality Italian wines from the Italian Alps to Sicily. Well, they've now made their way to the mid-Michigan area, and the Sono Rosso and Mezza Corona wines are as popular as ever with mid-Michigan wine enthusiasts. You can find the Sono Rossos and Mezza Coronas at Dusty's Cellar in Okemos on Grand River Avenue. Ask Matt Rhodes about those, and maybe he'll give you a taste test. Or Horrocks on the west side. Sono Rosso and Mezza Corona wines, you'll love them. Don't forget the Antenna Men, okay? They'll take good care of you and get you out of the paying for cable TV monthly. The Antenna Men, Mike Heinze's company in Eaton Rapids. They'll put an antenna system on your home. You get more than 60 channels, and you never pay a dime after that. He's got Cell Signal Pros to make your cell signal service better. Great company. Antenna Men and Cell Signal Pros in Eaton Rapids. Google for all the details today.
Back to the best in sports talk now on the only station serving Lansing with the best sports talk for 30 years. The Game, 7:30 a.m.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios back to the Culligan Water Hotline in Lansing. JC's up next on the Tuesday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Good morning.
Morning. Is this me?
This is you.
Okay, yes, Jay. Yeah, my daughter played for Javier for 3 years. They call it Junior Pro Basketball for girls. And the first practice, he got me off to the side, and he goes, okay, this is what's going to happen. Your daughter's going to go home and start crying and saying, I don't want to ever play for him again. And it's exactly what happened. And he told her, he said, you got to give me 3 practices, and then you can decide. And she did, and I'll tell you what, she respects that man to this day. We're going to the funeral, and she played on the team with Elaine Ingram, which was one of the greatest girls players ever in Lansing. And but what a guy. I could talk about him for hours, but he just, I don't know how to explain how great a person he was. You know, he was super disciplined, and he told them that. He says, you got to give me 3 practices, and you can decide. She went home and cried. She went to the 3 practices, come back, and she loved him to this day because it molded her for all the other sports at Sexton for volleyball and softball.
Well, I think you just did a good job of
this. Because of him.
Yeah, thanks, JC. I think you did a very good job of explaining exactly the value that he had and what he meant to a lot of people. What do you have?
I got a couple of Pure Green Smith Tree breaking sports moments. Trey McKinney, the star at Orchard Lake St. Mary's, 5-star, who cut his list of 3 schools, Michigan, Georgetown, and USC, Southern California. He's the favorite to win Mr. Basketball this year. He has announced that he will make his commitment Saturday, November 9th.
There you go.
He will make his commitment on November 9th. There's that. I got another one here that just came in. Brian Anderson, the outstanding play-by-play announcer for Turner Sports. TNT Sports has announced a multi-year renewal with Brian Anderson. Will extend and expand his tenure with TNT past 20 years, calling MLB, NBA, NCAA. He does the NCAA tournament, golf, and next spring, for the first time, the French Open tennis, because TNT will have the French Open next spring.
I think he's as good on baseball as any baseball.
Totally agree. Excellent basketball as well. That's a good move.
I mean, of all the baseball, ball 1, ball 2, 2 outs, whatever, he to me, he's the best I've heard.
Doesn't overdo it either.
The Associated Press women's basketball preseason poll is out. No shock, South Carolina won, Connecticut 2, but for the first time in 25 years, since 1999, the Stanford women are not in the AP preseason poll. And by the way, good luck to many of the Big Ten women's basketball teams with the expansion from the West and a lot of other sports. The expansion from those 4 West Coast schools hasn't been a big deal. Well, guess what? Southern Cal and UCLA's women are both in the top 10 in the AP preseason poll, and no other Big Ten team is. Now, that doesn't mean somebody can't beat UCLA and Southern Cal. What it means is going in, those 2 women teams, the expectations are high.
Oh, yeah, the Juju Watkins, who'll be a sophomore. She's awesome.
I mean, she's considered, if you will, somewhat the Caitlin Clark of this coming season, with Caitlin Clark gone from Iowa now.
It's either her or Paige Beckers, who's back for her last year at Connecticut.
And so South Carolina, they're ranked number 1 in the preseason women's poll for the 4th time in the last 5 years. But UConn's right there at number 2.
Yeah, they're the best right now.
I mean, it's the usual suspects for them. And UCLA and Southern Cal are both in the top 5, rounded out by Notre Dame, LSU, Iowa State, North Carolina State, and Oklahoma. That's on the women's side, the women's college basketball preseason poll. Now, whether Stanford is, everything's new at Stanford, okay, on women's basketball. So we got that in here this morning. I'm looking else. The Philadelphia Phillies, who bowed out of the playoffs this morning, they extended their manager, Rob Thompson, his contract through 2026. So that's Dave Dombrowski, the former Tiger. He's the president, of the Philadelphia Phillies. They're obviously disappointed because the Mets knocked him out.
Yeah, it's bad that the Mets, their big rival in the NL East, knocked him out.
So, by the way, if you missed this, in the Los Angeles Dodgers dugout yesterday during Game 2, a snake slithered through the Dodgers dugout during the game yesterday in the 5th inning.
Yikes.
The snake was wrapped in a towel and removed by a member of the grounds crew. I don't know where it came from. I don't know whether it was venomous or not. This guy says, we've had snakes on a plane, snakes on a train, and the latest Hollywood hit, snake in the dugout, according to Joe Davis, the Potterville native, the play-by-play guy. But it doesn't tell me anything further about where it came from, how it got there, whether it was venomous or not. But a snake slid into the Dodgers dugout and they lost yesterday to the Mets, so that series is even at a win apiece. So what tonight we got Game 2, Cleveland at New York. Is that what? And that's the Yankees.
Tanner Bybee against Garrett Cole. That's the pitching matchup, at least to start the game.
And the Dodgers and Mets are off today, right?
Tomorrow.
They go tomorrow, Game 3, and the next 3 are in New York.
Yep.
Okay, so somebody could close it out if they sweep all 3 of those. We have ESPN radio programming coming up next.
Adam Nightingale show tonight, 7 to 8, 1240 WJIM out at 1 Northwest, the old Reno's West, out by the Lansing Mall.
You'll love 1 North. Scott Berman's got that
They've
place
had good
rocking.
crowds out there for Adam Nightingale.
So go out there and have a good time. They have 1 game at home Friday night, 6 o'clock against Windsor, and that's what they have this week.
It's an exhibition game.
You've been listening to the Sparrow Stout on Sports on Lansing Sports Station. This is the Game 730 AM. It's the home of the local sports shows and programming in the area in the Driven Collision Studios. For Brock, I'm Tim. Enjoy the rest of the day. It's a beautiful day in the area. Stay safe, whatever you do. Let's get back tomorrow at 10:05. And that'll be for the Wednesday edition of the Sparrow Stout on Sports. So long.
I'm Will Tiemann, and welcome to the Michigan Sports Brief for Tuesday, October the 15th, brought to you by Frankenmuth Insurance. Start a frank conversation about your insurance with one of our local independent agents by visiting fmins.com. Michigan State will be hosting Iowa for a Saturday night homecoming game this weekend. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Just like your favorite sports team, you need a solid defense to protect your home and business. Whether you're tackling unexpected accidents, fouls, or fumbles, the Heartland Insurance Agency and Michigan-based Frankenmuth Insurance are on your team. Visit the Heartland Insurance Agency today at heartlandinsurance.com. That's HARTLAND insurance.com.
MSU stepped away last week for a bye week after starting the season with 6 games in a row. The Spartans will get a second bye week this season due to league expansion that added 4 teams from the old Pac-12, USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon to the Big Ten. That second bye week, by the way, comes on November the 2nd. But right now, they are back in game week mode. Coach Jonathan Smith.
Yeah, a little bit, got a little bit extra family time, but really on Saturday. Of course, I found myself watching a little football, but, got a little time there. I think that's important for really the entire building. Players, coaches, to find some time to, get away from it. And I think most coaches did get a little family time on Saturday.
And on the pros and cons and moments of reflection, that comes with a bye week. Again, Coach Smith.
Yeah, I think sometimes the pros are, you've gone through a rough stretch to be able to take a deep breath, get a little bit of recovery. That can be a pro for a bye week. Some of the cons, if you're in a nice rhythm, sometimes you want to stay in that rhythm. And so there's 2 ways to see the bye. I do think for us, where we're at currently, this time of year, it came at a good time. Obviously, when we couldn't finish, we had multiple opportunities offensively through the first 6 games to finish some things, and we didn't do it, whether, getting stopped in the red zone, turning the thing over. That at the flip side of that, when you're cringing, we're that close. We just got to take the next step of being able to finish. I think there's opportunities. We look at us defensively, take the ball away a couple of times would have changed things. And so those things kind of individually stood out to me on the 6 games.
The 3-3 Spartans now take on 4-2 Iowa. Hawkeyes come into Spartan Stadium after winning their Big Ten home opener last weekend, knocking off Washington 40-16. And the Michigan Sports Brief, as always, has been brought to you by Frankenmuth Insurance.